Guys, we want this to be civil, so please raise your hands when you have a point to make. Take turns, and no making fun of other people's horrible opinions.
And say your
Is there like a mid podcast cry that we get to have after we fight like halfway through it? We get a good cry in, then we finish the rest of the podcast. Okay, I just want to make sure we have a scheduled cry.
Yeah. Now Dan and Jeff live too far away, but Kyle, if it really goes bad, we could maybe meet up and just have a nice hug at some point. You know,
yeah,
we
I'd
might
like that.
do that.
Yeah.
We need to do that.
Like a real snowflake.
It's a good embrace.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. If you're, we are discovering all of the emoji reactions on Skype.
I don't even want to start touching stuff because I'll break something. So
the snow falling continuously would actually be kind of a nice effect. But
hey, Jeff, there's a really cool emoji. It's a red little phone icon down at the bottom middle. Click that one.
Oh, no way.
Oh, what's that?
I can do that.
Do you have Unpacked in the background? Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's the game of the year.
Best game of the year.
Well, we better get started because we've got a lot to talk about. And this is just part one of our Game of the Year debates for the year 2021. Although now it's 2022. So happy New Year to everybody.
New year,
but
new
it's time,
us.
New year, new us, and time to reflect on last year's games, which, guys, I've been told a lot. Bad year for gaming. Awful year for gaming, right?
Yeah.
Really
I
bad
don't know.
year.
I have a solid top 10, so I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. Ranking my top, I got to be honest with you, my top 20 was actually kind of tough. So I have there's a lot of really good games this year. I think this will be fun. It's a weird year. It reminds me of 2019 where a lot of good games, but nothing that was like my obvious home run hitter that was a no-brainer to sit at the top or even top 3. So it'll be an interesting one. But we have a couple weeks till we get to best overall game. We have smaller categories to get to before then. If you're not familiar with how we do this, typically, hopefully Derek will be able to join us because we want to have all 5 of us. It's nice to have a tiebreaker, an uneven number for those kind of situations. But the goal of this is for us to create a group of shared lists on certain categories. And then other times we'll just share some of our personal favorites because it's really hard to do a shared ranking of certain categories. And it's also kind of boring to do all those, to make you listen to all those over and over again. So for right now, it's Kyle, Jeff, Dan, and myself. And then hopefully Derek will get a chance to join us later on. So let me go over the rules real quick. So our Game of the Year debate rules are: the game must have been released in 2021.
Oh, dang it. All right.
I do think, I know there's a lot of people
like,
my top games all came out in 2015. I'm like, all right, that's great.
I've seen some really weird lists, in the group where I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm not gonna nitpick, whatever.
Yeah, that's fine.
What
You
if
make
it
your
came
own
out
list.
today?
But for our purposes, that is a rule we try to stick to. We can always have exceptions here and there. Maybe it was something that was in early access, or maybe it was only on one platform and we totally missed it. And typically it's when it's a PC game that finally comes, or a mobile game even, that comes to consoles that finally catches on. I think we could count some of those, especially if we've never considered them in the past. I don't want to do what we've seen in other awards things where it's like, Flight Simulator is up again for the same category 2 years in a row. Like
Genshin Impact, get the out of here.
Yeah, Genshin Impact, right, exactly.
Enough.
So we're trying to focus in on stuff that released in 2021 for the most part. Some exceptions when we'll decide together. We'll kind of we'll do Calvin Ball. We'll make up the rules as we go for some of that stuff. So what we'll do for each category that we're going to rank together is we'll establish a list of eligible games that we want considered. So I created a list, and I'll do a screen share. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see the list we're working from. And then we'll just kind of essentially go around until we're done listing games we want to have considered. So we'll do that first. And then the second round is to narrow that list down to 10. So we'll start kind of making our cuts, and hopefully we can find some common ground. Usually the way this goes is we all kind of agree consensus wise, like, yeah, these 5 are obvious. And then it becomes a little more nitty gritty after that. And then after that, once we get down to ranking them for the final round, whenever we get into a stalemate, if we're stuck, maybe we have the right number of people to really cast vote, but someone's not comfortable voting because they've never played it. Maybe then we have to go over to something like Metacritic, which is a pretty cold-hearted and I think not the most accurate way to pick a better game. I really don't think it is, but I don't know of a better tiebreaker, to be honest with you. We do have some community voting. We do have some community voting, but we didn't do it for all categories. So we might dig into those results as well if we have to for some tiebreakers, if that makes sense. So. Yep. All that makes sense to you guys? Any questions? We good? Ready to fight?
I'm gonna punch you guys. I'm gonna punch you guys so hard in the faces, just so hard.
Dude, you have all those.
I wish we were in a cafe right now, and then the fight would really be on.
I'm gonna go Autonomous Instinct, Ultra Instinct on you, Kyle. That's
one
what I'm
person knows what that means, and you just said his name.
Dan has weapons behind him, and he's threatening to punch us.
I don't need swords. I use my fists.
All right, so let's jump right into it, and we're gonna kick things off with a personal list. No need to rank these. We don't have to argue over which goes first. It's just our own personal picks for the best remaster, remake, and or collection. However you want to pick them. For me, it's mostly just the remake and collection piece. There's not a whole lot of remasters that I played this year that I liked, but however you want to do that, your personal top 3, one of each of those, however you want to do that. But I'll go ahead and go first since I've got mine ready to roll here. So I thought there were some actually pretty good collections and remakes from this year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I've actually got 4. So at number 4, it's the Castlevania Advance Collection. I thought that was a really fun group of games to play. I didn't play them all through, but I played a couple of them pretty far into them. Those are really good. A couple of them are really good games. Some of them are just kind of fun, like historic pieces to have in a collection. It's nice to have those in the library, but man, some of those are really good. So I really enjoyed the Advanced Collection on the Switch is where I got it. Number 3 is Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. That one's a little weird because it's a lot of new content and it's a re-release. So however you want to think about that, I thought of it as like a sort of a collection / re-release personally. And I thought that was just amazing. I had never played it, never owned a Wii U. So Super Mario 3D World was one of those games that I just kind of assumed, guess I'll never play it. And it came out and I loved it. And I thought Bowser's Fury was brilliant. Really enjoyed Bowser's Fury.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to that.
It's a lot of fun. ActRaiser Renaissance was number 2 for me.
Oh, jeez,
of course, that was a surprise release. I was not expecting that. And then boom, it just, not only was it announced, but then it was released that day. I mean, that was so exciting when that happened. So I'm a big ActRaiser fan, and I thought that the complete ground up rebuild of that game was brilliant. I thought they added some really smart stuff. It looked great, played great. And I love that game. But number 1 has to be the Mass Effect Legendary Collection. I finally played those games. Almost done with 3. Played a little bit more over Christmas break, actually. And just so fun, so good. Really moving games, great stories, characters. Everything everyone says about those games, it's true. It's true, all of it.
Especially the ending.
Well, I haven't gotten to the end of 3 yet, so I'm working on it.
Just joking.
Oh, okay.
Well, people are dumb.
Because
I'll defend it all day. I don't
care.
People hated.
I was making a joke against the people that were furious and crying about it.
Which is to be fair, like the world, it was like the majority of people are mad at it, but I like it. I think the ending's.
But I thought that collection was great. I thought the upgrades that they made. I mean, it just parts of it, even parts of 2, were like, is this game? This game isn't new, right? Because it looks and plays really modern. So
3, when I booted up 3 and like actually started playing it, I was like, wow, this game does not feel like it was made 10 years ago, or however long it was, 8 years ago.
Those are my favorite collection / remake re-releases. Who else has a list they want to share?
I'll go. I'll just blow through mine real quick. My number 5 was Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. You couldn't even buy that game anymore, so it's just nice to be able to like pick this game up. One of the best soundtracks in a game ever. I love this.
Thank you for reminding me about that one. I completely forgot.
Yeah. The next one I'll do Death Stranding director's cut. It's not just graphics. There's new content. There's a lot of new stuff in this game. A lot of action oriented stuff. It's pretty cool. I liked it a lot. Number 3, Elder Scrolls Skyrim Anniversary. I just have it just to make people mad, to be honest. I just put it on here just to be controversial.
Can we just talk about Skyrim the next couple hours?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, and then we can transition back into Matrix. That'd be great.
Yeah.
And my number 2 is Nier Replicant version. I'm not gonna say all those numbers. I'm dyslexic and I can't read that right off the bat.
It's just lazy, Kyle.
Jeff, you just said started playing this. Pretty good game. I like this game a lot.
Yeah.
And my number 1 I share with Tim. It's Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Getting to replay this game again was just tops. It was just one of my favorite. It's actually, if we could add these to the main list, like this would probably be my game of the year again. So
good. Good. Having all those in one spot is really cool too. Just fire up one and
playing them back to back. Also, I was just like, this story just flows so well. I really enjoyed it.
It's really good. Now, can we all agree though that Near Replicant should have just been called Near Replicant because the version number is super obnoxious? Can we all agree that that's obnoxious?
It's very
I'm
important.
super tired of
Very
Birth by Sleep, 365 day over 649, Kingdom Heart. Like I'm
Dot
so
hack
tired.
slash whatever.
No, I'm so tired. I don't know why Japan thinks this is cute, but cut it out.
Yeah,
I
Near
think it's cute
Replicant.
as hell.
Near Replicant would have
Of
been
course you
great. Near Replicant would have worked just fine. I don't know why they didn't just go with that. But anyway,
Japanese people do nothing wrong. All right, shut up, Jeff. They do nothing wrong. Ever. Nothing ever.
Nothing.
ever. Pearl Harbor.
well, Dan, what about you? Do you have some remasters collections that you've enjoyed this year?
All right, so does 7 Remake Intergrade count as this
Sure.
category? Okay,
Why
so
not? Yeah.
I count that because I mean technically it's just sort of like the slight bump up to the PS5, like visuals and fidelity,
I mean,
frame.
Death Stranding and Ghost
It's a
are the
new
same way.
SKU, and they added
So-
a word to the title. I
and,
think it
and
counts.
the DLC attached to it, which is actually pretty important too.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
You could actually argue it's more of a remaster than Super Mario 3D World was. So
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's obviously my number one. Skyrim would be my number two because Skyrim is fantastic.
because it's
suck
poop
it,
for
everybody.
two.
Poop joke. Poop joke. Scott Pilgrim, thank you for reminding me. Also, Kyle.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim was that was such a delight for that to come back because people really did want it to come back, so that was cool. Mario Party Superstars is just a really fun, they kind of remastered like a random selection of like older Mario Party levels, and it looks really pretty. And I mean, it's a lot of people like the older stages more than sort of the latter ones in the Mario Party series, so that one's pretty fun. And then Pokemon Shining Pearl, just because my wife and I are playing that right now, and it's super fun. It's more like the classic Pokemon as opposed to Sword and Shield, which obviously is kind of, I guess, the new style of Pokemon. So yeah,
They've been remaking those games for a while now, and this one, for whatever reason, got crucified. Like I didn't really understand it.
I think it's the sort of weirdness of switching from like the little chibi characters when you're roaming around the world to like when you're fighting, then they look like the normal proportions. But it's like that doesn't that doesn't bother me. Like I don't care. Like
it's
that's
fine.
kind of how
I don't know.
all of the classic Pokemon games were. All of them.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I don't know. It's super weird. I saw a lot of people just really go after this game. I'm like, yeah, but they remake one of these every other year. They remake a new, like they remake just like this. They do this.
They've
But
been
this one-
switching with like.
But this
new
one we're
release
really
and then
mad
this
at for whatever reason. So.
Yeah, I know. I think my favorite of all the Pokemon remakes, by the way, just random thought, is probably Let's Go Eevee. And I know a lot of people didn't love that as much.
I like that one a lot. Yeah.
I thought those games, or Let's Go Pikachu was the other option there, but I thought those games were super charming. What really fun.
To be fair, it's because it's the original one, and that's still the best Pokemon as far as I'm
so fun, and they made some fun changes there. But anyway,
151, man, yeah, good stuff.
Yep. Cool, Jeff. What about you?
This series is terrible. Stop talking about Pokemon.
Stop it!
I'm gonna punch you so hard.
You're so rude.
You know what? You're. Never mind. I was gonna say something.
You're not 12 anymore. Let's move on. All right, so
you're literally. I got
Aren't we?
unpacking on your background. I cannot.
It's just the game of the year, guys. I'm just trying to represent the game of the year.
Jeff, I'm gonna need you to pack your bullshit right back up. All right.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
if you're just listening to this, Jeff's background is literally the game unpacking. So any criticism he throws at us it no longer matters. But
It is
void and null.
that's right.
No, it's
Go ahead,
void.
Jeff. What are
There
yours?
were many remake. First of all, I thought there would be like a separate DLC expansion category, but I couldn't find it in the notes. So I'll just lump that into this.
Sure.
So first of all, I did try to play through many collections. Oh, I say many. I mean like two that I couldn't really connect with, and it's one that Tim mentioned. Unfortunately, Super Mario 3D World. I couldn't really connect to that game. And then the other one was a GTA trilogy that was crucified. Whoops. Some would argue rightfully so. Whoopsie. So the games that I did actually like.
And by the way, pause real quick. If you want to save DLC for our best whatever category, that's when you get to make your own categories, and you can save it if you want to. But I'm also whatever you want to do. If you want to share your favorite DLC here too, I like that too.
Might as well. I've already mentioned I haven't gotten the Final Fantasy Intergrade one yet.
I still haven't either. I haven't played the episode.
Same.
But I wanted to mention since I just started it, New Replicant version STFU 15314 repeating.
Wait, please continue. Keep going.
No.
It's really good so far.
That's absolutely enough.
Yeah.
Please stop. It's really good so far, and the thing that shines the most in this series is it's the combat. So I mean, that's if you got good combat in your game,
Nier Automata. That's what
and the music. And the music.
Yeah, the music's pretty good. Not the best of the year, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's probably the best of the year, but
It won best of the year, shouldn't have, but it was pretty good.
And it won. Yeah.
It won though.
Shouldn't have won.
But I think it won. So
Yeah, there's a trophy.
I know it won,
involved,
but
so.
he started some bullcrap for Game of the Year, so whatever, it's fine.
Oh,
Whoa. Yeah.
whoa.
Uh-oh. Shared experience.
Yeah, I really like it so far. Mass Effect was my first time playing it too, and I did beat the 3. I beat all of it, and it immediately made me want to play Andromeda. I loved it so much. Any other year that would be like my number one game, period. That entire package. But I say any other year, I mean if the rules allowed it. Even my own rules, not just the podcast rules, but when I make my list, I don't include re-releases, remakes, all that stuff. So if I did, this would be number one because Mass Effect just blew my socks off. Ghost of Tsushima, director.
Yeah,
That's a
was
good choice.
amazing. Holy freaking crap!
If
dude.
I had DLC on my list, that would be 1 or 2. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
that's
shit was
definitely
so
one for me. That story did not need to be as good as it was. The horse mechanics did not need to be as cool as they were. So much about this game, it feels like the developers just spoiling us. Like, oh, you didn't ask for multiplayer, but here it is, and it's amazing.
And it's really in depth and
Yeah.
super fun. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah. There's a lot to it. The grind is not like obnoxious or anything. It's
Exactly.
a good time.
And it's free.
And
So
it's free.
And it's
exactly.
free, yeah.
And Iki Island is it's not free. I mean,
sure, but
Oh,
$20 maybe.
yeah, it's like $10,
It's-
$20, something like that.
It's like 20
so
hours,
not
25
bad.
hours of content, right? I forget.
Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah, it's
amount
like
of
that much,
content.
and it's like 10 hours. Yeah, it took me a
Was
while.
it 10?
'cause I
Okay,
was
it's like 10.
exploring.
Okay.
A lot
We
of
can all agree that that game is ugly, right? We all
Yeah,
agree that.
no, absolutely.
It's probably one of the worst looking games I've ever seen.
It's worse than
Yeah.
Unpacking for sure.
Easily.
Unpacking.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah.
This,
It's no Balan Underworld.
better.
You know what I
It's
mean?
no, it's
All right,
no
hold
balance.
on.
Switch version.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's no GTA trilogy, It's
All right, those are good. Yeah, listen, this is a pretty good year for collections, especially and remasters, remakes. I mean, I think every year we get a collection of those, or a selection of, revisiting old favorites. But something about seeing Mass Effect especially come out this year just made it feel like a better year. Something about that legendary collection that's been talked about for a long time. When are we getting the trilogy? When are we getting the trilogy? And then here it is, and boy, it really delivered. Really.
94 hours in under a month. That was my.
Whew,
That's
that'll
it.
do it.
I couldn't believe it because this is at a time where I was having a hard time finding time to play. I was canceling plans to replay this game. I don't know. Nostalgia is a weapon, guys.
yeah.
It is.
A good
use it.
weapon.
Use it
It might be
wisely.
the last year that they do more remakes and re-releases and stuff, collections.
Yep. All right. Well, enough of this happy, friendly. Hey, what's your favorite? That's cool. Nice picks. Like now we're gonna actually do a shared list and fight each other on it. All right.
Cool.
So we're gonna start
Okay.
things off, especially since Derek's not here. It's a perfect one to start without him being around, and that is best.
We're not.
Go
We're
ahead.
not saving it. We're not saving it. All right.
We're not
that's
saving.
fine.
We're not saving it.
Yeah.
Best indie game. Although our definition of indie, I mean, for the most part, I've always thought of this as if it's kind of a smaller budget game, a smaller game in general. I like the idea of including it here. So even if it happened to have a big publisher, but it was a $20 release, like for example, like Child of Light, if that had come out this year, I would have said, hey, let's include that on the list. Even though
But it's
Ubisoft,
Tim.
I know.
No. I totally agree with you. I think you and I have the same exact definition of what an indie is.
So I'll do a screen share here. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can kind of see the list as it takes shape. If you're listening, whatever, it doesn't make a difference to you anyway. But yeah, you'll see some on here that are clearly made by a very small team, published by probably self-published, and it just happened to catch on. And that's awesome. That's truly indie. I understand that's the real definition. I also want to consider games that maybe had a bigger publishing arm behind it, whatever it is, but it still falls in that same category. Mainly, the main reason I like to do that is because I just don't think some of these games are going to get any attention in any other categories. Definitely not in our overall game of the year. So this gives the smaller games a chance. That is why my gut told me to leave off stuff like Life is Strange, True Colors, and It Takes Two, games that in the past we might have thought of them as a little more indie for whatever reason, outside of the real definition of it. But I don't know, they're full-priced, big games. They feel like fully fledged $60 plus experiences to me. But I could be convinced to include, for example, It Takes Two, considering that is a smaller team than some with Hazelight, but they're not tiny.
Yeah, there's like 60 people there. It's not that small, but
But like you're
it's not
saying,
like
we're not
Kena, where
adding
it's like
Kena, right? Like that's
Kana's like 15 employees, so
Yeah,
I mean,
Kana. I have Kana on the list. I don't know how
So
we
you have it on the
couldn't.
list. Okay.
So I don't know because
That
that
one
was
is
also
tricky.
it was a
Because
$40.
it exists in two worlds where it is a small team, but it's also a big game.
But it was a
like,
smaller priced game. That's one for some reason my mind keeps going to that too. I don't know
yeah,
why.
$40. That's a game on a budget for sure. So
It's just kind of a smaller game, and I don't know.
And It Takes Two, the previous game they did, A Way Out, got millions of dollars to make from whoever did it, EA. I feel like the budget would have been only bigger for It Takes Two.
So
yeah.
That's
what do
not
you guys think? What
necessarily
do you guys
indie,
think
you know?
about stuff like Kana, It Takes Two? What do you think about these? Should we include them? Yes? No? What do you think?
I mean, Kana's probably gonna be like on a lot of people's top 10 lists, I imagine, right?
It was
It
on
won-
the
it
actual
won
Game
the Game of
Awards.
the Game Awards. So
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, not that we're just gonna only use that as a frame of reference, but
Yeah.
You're saying that it makes sense because they also had it as an indie, and is that okay?
Yeah, I mean, if
I think-
anybody would know, the industry would know. I would hope, but
Yeah.
I kind of feel like an argument could be made for either way. So I guess whatever our gut feeling is, we can kind
But
of.
see, and I don't want to bring up like, well, Sony did pump a lot of money into that, but then we go back to the Ubisoft reference with like
Sure.
Child of Light, where we're like, oh, but it is a smaller budget game. So I feel like it's probably a good idea to be inclusive on big, companies doing small games.
we might just weigh that when we rank it if it does make. Like
I
a
would want to
10.
keep Kana in there. Honestly, I'm kind of 50-50 on It Takes Two because there's elements of it that feel indie to me and elements of it that feel like a big.
I think It Takes Two should
platform.
be indie, personally.
What do you think, Jeff and Dan? If you guys all want it, I'm down with that.
I mean, it feels indie, but I know it's a full price game. I'm mixed.
Is it 60? Was it? I thought it was like only 40.
60.
Oh wow, I didn't realize that. Okay,
and that's okay. That doesn't have to be like an automatic.
I mean, I'll double check,
disqualifier.
but
That doesn't have to be a disqualifier.
And again, only judging from what A Way Out got, because we don't have the budget details on it. It Takes Two, but A Way Out, which was much shorter, got like $3-something million to develop it, and I assume It Takes Two got like way more just based on how long it is.
And for people who are listening too, I got to be honest. There are times with some of these categories, I just kind of go with my gut. So as I was going through the list and I was moving games from my overall games list into the indie category, I kind of just went with my gut. And so with It Takes Two, for some reason in my gut was like, yeah, that's a AAA game. Maybe that's not fair. And I'm 100% okay with, I just think I could go either way on that one. I do feel like Kana belongs in here. I don't think something like Life is Strange does. I think that's a AAA game through.
I'm looking on Steam. I mean, I could check other references, and I don't know if this was like an actual permanent price drop. It's on sale right now for 20, half of 40. So it's showing as It Takes Two being 40 full price.
Yeah, I remember buying it for 40 on PS5.
So I don't know if that was like a permanent price drop.
Yeah, I don't remember buying that game for $60.
Okay.
Or 70.
So
or whatever.
maybe that doesn't even. It doesn't.
Well,
even
we
have
definitely
that.
know Life is Strange costs that much. That's for sure. But let me check that price.
So I don't know.
Life is Strange was full price. Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
Yeah, it's on the PlayStation Store for $40 full
I'm
price.
truly kind of indifferent on it. Kyle says include it. Dan and Jeff, do you have
Go
a
ahead.
strong
Just
take?
do it.
Yeah, the
against
price is a.
Just do it. Do it.
the-
Do it.
Yep. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's put it in there.
Do it.
All right.
You know what? Kyle's a nice young man. Let's just throw him a bone.
He's
all
a
right?
nice
I super don't care that much. Yeah, throw me a bone
Yeah.
about something cooler
Nope.
than that.
Kyle, you just got your first favorite.
No, I want to
counts.
redo on my buys.
You owe us later.
This is dumb. Ugh, I hate it. I already hate you
Stop
guys.
being
I
nice
even
to
started
me.
debating it. I already hate you guys.
Stop being nice to me.
It's true. We haven't even put one game in this list.
Have it. All right.
I'm
Already
saying
heated.
something
Already
nice.
mad.
I'm saying something nice to Kyle, and he's fucking furious.
It's true.
Let's throw me a bone on the worst category.
All right, Derek.
All right. Well, let's go around and start naming games we want to have considered on this. Dan, we'll start with you. You don't have to explain much about it yet. You can just say, name a game you want to move over. And you can start at the top of the list here and work your way down if you want.
Definitely not It Takes Two. That game is stupid. So.
Oh my god.
I'm just kidding.
All right, liar,
hold-
who lies a lot.
Let me look real quick. I didn't. Oh, damn it! I wish I haven't played it. Eastward. I'll do Eastward. I haven't played it yet, but I know that I'll love it.
A great
Alright,
choice.
So I think
Jeff?
that should be on there.
Yep.
I can zoom in. Okay.
Jeff?
Valheim.
Yes. I did not see that down there.
We're counting it right, by the way. We didn't even discuss this on the podcast.
We didn't even discuss this. Valheim
matter.
is an early access. They've got 5 of their planned 9 biomes and bosses released. But the core game is, I would argue, is complete. and I think you can get a really full game experience there. But I won't say too much more about it. But I included it on my personal list for stuff.
I did too.
I don't care that much if we decide, hey, early access is kind of weird to include here. So do you guys have a strong opinion about that?
I have a strong opinion
feel
about
like this
Valheim
game should be a hard 2021 game, to be honest.
I think so too. Because if we wait until this game is
cultural
1.0
impact
release,
is important when you're rating. Like, did a game come out? I don't know. Did it literally shift the world? It did a little bit. People were talking about Valheim nonstop whenever this game came out.
For a couple months there, right?
My dad has logged 900 hours into this game.
Remember how mad we were whenever like Fortnite or like finally
I just
won,
cracked 300 on it.
Oh wow. Well, Fortnite.
My dad went AFK a lot and let the pigs eat. So
Fortnite 3 years in won like best game of something, and we were all mad about it because like this game's been out for years. We need to treat Valheim like that. You know?
I think you're right, because if we wait till this game truly hits a 1.0 release, it's probably going to be like 2025 if I'm being realistic, because of how much they still have planned to go. Yeah. So that'd be kind of weird to be like, oh yeah, I loved that game from 4 years ago, you know. So I like including it now, personally. But all right, Kyle, what do you want to move over?
I want to move over The Artful Escape.
All right.
Yes.
I'll hop back to the top and move 12 minutes over to be considered. Dan?
Let's see here. Death's Door.
All right. Jeffrey?
There's one that I wanted. Can you scroll down? Oh, actually, I'll just scroll down on my end. What am I doing? Unpack. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean,
you can move it up, unpacking over.
Oh, Solar Ash.
There it is. Kyle.
I just put It Takes Two over.
Okay. Dan.
Let's see here. Let's say Little Nightmares 2.
Nice.
Did anybody else play that but me, or?
I have not.
So you definitely played it, Dan?
No, but I really, really enjoyed the first one. So I mean, if it's on par quality wise, like then I know,
even better. So,
yeah.
Jeff, what do you think?
Kana.
Yeah.
Kana.
The ones we were arguing about.
Yeah. I was trying to get the ones that I'm like, I don't know if these will make the 10 first, you know?
Sure.
Let's see. Curse of the Dead Gods. I'll bring that one over. Dan back. Did I skip you, Kyle? Sorry. Did I skip you, Kyle? Yeah, Kyle.
I'll go The Ascent. I want to play more of that game, but
me too.
Awesome. Come over.
I do need to play more of that,
I forgot about that one.
Dan, what do you want to bring over? Anything else?
And
again, these are mainly just ones that you're like, hey, I'd like to at least make a small case for it to be considered. Like that's the qualifier here.
I mean, honestly, not even sarcastically, unpacking for sure.
Okay. Jeff?
What? No, what? Can we unpack that for a second?
I was not going to say that game ever, even though I got the background. I was going to. It's a joke.
I would have brought it over just because I love Kyle so much. Jeff, what do you think?
Even though House of Ashes is in the list, I don't consider it indie because it's got all these stars in it. And
which one?
House of Ashes. I don't consider that indie personally.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Because all the stars and Supermassive is like.
We can talk about it when it comes to like story and other stuff.
And stuff. Yeah, I'll argue for that one in other categories. I'm just throwing that out there because I want people to know I love that game. I'm gonna go ahead and throw Inscription a bone, even though it's like normally not my cup of tea. It's got a lot going for it.
Yeah, I have a category on my own personal list where I just kind of had to admit, like I didn't play enough of these games to really rank them somewhere, and Inscription's on there because I played through the whole demo. It's really great, but I don't feel like I played enough to really
because apparently it changes each act. Like it's like the perspective changes, like top down or something. I don't know.
But it is cool if you like card games, especially. It's very cool. Kyle.
Chicory? No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. Tribes of Midgard.
That on purpose.
Tribes of Midgard. Yeah, that was fun.
I love playing that one with you guys.
I think I probably played a total of maybe like 8-9 sessions, and only really 2 with other people. So that game, yeah, it is. But that game is really fun.
It is.
I'm gonna bring over Tales of Iron. That's been one of my Christmas week games I've been playing. I'm enjoying that one a lot. Dan, anything else?
No. I mean, there's like maybe a couple of other games on here that I've played, but I don't think they would be worthy of being on the top 10. So.
All the Axiom Verge fans are like mad right now. All the
So that's under eligible games, but as an Axiom Verge fan who bought that game day one, was really excited. That game's not that great.
Wow.
It's just not that great.
Sorry, guys.
I mean, I had fun with it, but I would never put it
It was
in
okay.
consideration as like a best of anything.
So it's not as good as the first one?
No.
That's a bummer because the people waited a while for that.
Yeah. I don't like.
You could throw over Cyber Shadow just to make it.
Ooh,
the
I
next
like that
round.
one. Yeah, I like that one. I'm also gonna put over Blue Fire. My son and I have been playing that a little bit. It was on sale, so we grabbed Blue Fire. That one's pretty fun.
Fire is not blue.
I know Derek would choose Boyfriend Dungeon, but he's not here, so let's just leave it off.
Actually, I was gonna unironically pick that because it's a good game.
Ender Lilies, the Quietest of the Nights, is one that I keep meaning to get to, but I
Yeah,
just
me
haven't
too.
yet. I really want to play Ender Lilies, but
Yeah, I want to play that too.
have not played Griftlands. I love. Is it Clay? Is that how you say the name of that company? But they're the ones who did like Mark of the Ninja and games like that, and I still haven't played Griftlands. I want to.
Well, I really like Mark. I didn't know they made a new game. That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah, I want to play Griftlands, but have not yet. Loop Hero. I'm gonna move that one over. That game is brilliant. Little
Is Into the Pit a game about the pit in Pawnee, Indiana? Or?
Thank you. Never mind. I want to talk
The
about
Pit.
second.
I
we made that joke when it came out. Yep. That's
Oddworld
Forgotten City.
Soulstorm was probably Oddworld Soulstorm is probably one of my biggest disappointments of the year. As a big Oddworld fan, I just did not. That game took forever, and then it did not quite deliver, in my opinion. So,
Omno was terrible.
Which Omno, yeah.
Yeah, you just do nothing. You jump around. You jump around horribly. Like you get barely any height.
Yep. Yeah.
And you just move on from
you-
area to area. You barely do anything. You barely interact
You
with anything.
hate the environment, is what you're saying to us right now. Got it.
Hate the environment.
Opus Echo of Starsong is one of those games that's got super high Metacritic ratings, and it's been on sale a couple times on Steam. I just haven't grabbed it, but apparently it's a pretty strong narrative-based adventure that I want to try. I played Recompile a little bit. It's fine. Kind of that 3D action adventure. Everything's kind of pixelated and jumbled. And anyway, it's interesting, but it's not great. Sable, I wouldn't put it on there.
People loved this game in the end of the year articles. Sable. I just thought it was kind of. I mean, I like the art style. I liked it a lot. It reminded me of like Liquid Television back in MTV days. But you're not doing a lot. So
Lost in Random. I haven't played that one. I really want to try that one too.
Same. Yeah, that one looks cool.
I played Kaze and the Wild Masks, and it's highly acclaimed on Metacritic as well.
Yeah, that one I want to try too. It's like Sonic esque, right? Sort of like
you're not really doing anything speed oriented, but it's a platformer. And you're a rabbit, and you got to spin attack and stuff like that. It's fun, Didn't blow my socks off or anything, but it's fun.
Yeah. Yep.
I think Forgotten City should be in consideration.
I only played about an hour of it, so I didn't get into the mystery, but it's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't finish it, but like, I'm just very impressed with what they were able to build out of like, isn't it just a Skyrim mod, and they built like a whole story out of it?
It's one of those games where you have to be cool with doing a lot of like face-to-face talking with digital characters and lots of dialogue trees. Like it's not an action. There's action moments, but anyway. I played the Rift Breaker some. I played a little bit of Unsighted. Nothing to get super excited about.
Yeah. That's how I feel about White Shadows and Hoa. Like I played it. They're pretty. There's really not a whole lot you're doing though.
Everyone loves Wilder Myth, and I think that game looks really cool. Just never played it, but Wilder Myth is a favorite. So
Dreamscaper is really cool.
Yeah, Dreamscaper is cool.
I forgot about that one. Yeah,
I'll move it over. By the way, the soundtrack on Dreamscaper is amazing. Boyfriend Dungeon.
I feel like that game's actually really good. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I did play it, and it is really cool. But it's just like the whole boyfriend aspect of it is just kind of dumb. That's the only thing. That's the only hang up. But the actual gameplay is really cool.
Yeah.
This is a pretty hefty list already.
Do I throw in Before Your Eyes just because it's different?
It's up to you.
And it was a Kickstarter, so
you can.
All right, let's just throw it in there, just cause.
All right. So some of the notable ones that we are not bringing over, because none of us really want to make a case for it, stuff like Origami 2 or Axiom Verge 2, Baldo, Blaster Master 03, Chicory, A Colorful Tale.
Chicory can suck it.
Echo Generation, I played a little bit of that.
I really like that, except the combat's just kind of not.
It's not
It
fun.
needs to be worked. Like it needs some
The
massage.
combat wasn't fun,
massaging.
but boy, the visuals were cool though.
Yeah, definitely.
Eldest Souls is fun if you ever played Titan Souls. If you like those kind of games, it's pretty tough. But I thought it was cool, but not enough to make a case for it. Fuga Melodies of Steel actually looks pretty awesome, and I know it got reviewed really great. I just never played it. Genesis Noir looks amazing. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we at least need to...
I quit Lake because I realized it was just you're being a male woman or whatever, and that's it.
Right.
That's the game, and you're
Yeah.
talking to people.
a male woman. How dare you?
Yeah, pretty much. Male person. And that's it. That's the game. Last Stop, I thought, ended up coming around full circle really cool, but it's hard to recommend that to people.
I didn't bring over Lost Words Beyond the Page, although I did finish that game.
Yeah, I freaking love that game, but it makes no sense to move it over. Because you would be like, nah. Like everything I've said that was positive about it, you'd kind of be like, nah.
I just didn't like it that much. I don't know what maybe I was just cold-hearted that day when I played it. I don't know what it is. I just didn't like it.
You had Derek energy inside you.
I guess.
Maybe it was.
Maybe that's
what it was.
Narita Boy was one of my bigger disappointments because the visuals are so cool. And then you play it, and it was like,
and the music, right? Oh my god, the music is insane.
Yeah, it's like a side-scrolling Tron adventure, but then you start playing it like, oh, this isn't actually that fun to play.
Yeah, he just slides all over the place. Like I don't understand it's such a shame. Such a shame.
It is. All right, well there you go. So we've got a really good selection here, just over 20 games that we at least want to have considered for our top 10, and I won't read them through necessarily at the moment till we get down to 10, or at least we narrow it down to closer to 10. So I'd like to start things off by saying I think there's a handful of games that I feel like are no-brainers in our top 10. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Death's Door is going to be in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'll just speak up loudly if you think I'm way off. I think.
No, I feel like you're on that, especially because how much you loved it, and I got some time in that, and I love that game too for what I played with it.
I finished it. It's definitely high quality for sure.
I think
sweet.
Death's Door, Kena, It Takes Two. I could be wrong.
Artful Escape. I feel like we'd all argue for that one.
It has to be.
Artful Escape will be in our top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all beat 12 minutes too, right?
I think
Valheim. 12 minutes has to be over. 12 minutes is
Valheim for sure.
Valheim 12 minutes. I agree with that. These are obvious. This is not in order, by the way, for anyone who's watching this.
Yeah.
I think those are the obvious ones.
Yeah.
I think
those 6.
Again, I haven't played it yet. I know Tim. I think Tim, you're the only one that's playing Eastward. But there's
Jeff
just something about.
No,
Eastward
I played it. It's great.
Oh, did you? Okay. That one just really speaks to me.
Eastward's amazing.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
I need to buy that one.
Okay. So here you go.
I told myself I was just going to play an hour of it, and then I lost like 3 hours. Like Eastward's really tough to put down. It's really fun.
Eastward's great. I do think I'm looking at these. It's funny that these 4 are grouped at the bottom. I don't think these 4 are going to make it over. The Ascent, The Forgotten City, Tribes of Midgard, or Unpacking. I don't think those are going to make our final 10. Is that am I being rude by saying that?
I mean, I would maybe argue The Ascent because I know I think I only played like 2-3 hours of that, but I really did like.
Same here. I'm like 2 or 3 hours in, and I thought it was so awesome.
All right.
I think that game's really cool.
Won't rule it out quite yet. Let's see up here. Okay. What about Forgotten City, Tribes of Midgard, Unpacking? Is it okay to leave those in the probably not going to make it?
Unpacking
group?
You can remove off this list and burn it on the fire.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
You know what?
Unpacking had the charm of a educational game from the 90s, okay?
It seemed like it had the charm of
a home ec class.
I think you guys all just hate the idea of a lesbian being happy and finding a home. All right.
First of all,
right there, Glondo. Let's chill out over there.
First of all, spoilers.
I mean, whatever.
Okay, I do think based on I don't know if have you guys played enough Curse of the Dead Gods, or am I the only?
I played like an hour of it. I just it's good. That's all I got to say about it.
Is that the one that's kind of like
a lot like Hades?
Yeah, I like that. I like that one. You can bring that one over. Yeah.
At least to have it like in this maybe group. I think Solar Ash. I've played enough of it to know it's amazing, and I know Jeff.
That game is so freaking good.
I really want to get to it so bad, so like I'll take no arm twisting for that one to be over.
It almost made my 10, but it was between that and 12 minutes, and 12 minutes was just like.
You mean your
just remembering
10?
the experience of playing that game? I had to put that in my 10 instead.
Overall 10 or indie 10?
Overall 10.
Oh, got it. Okay. All right. Well, that's
Solar Ash almost made it. Yeah.
That's high praising. High praise. All right. Any SNL? Nicolas Cage? No. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fight for Into the Pit, but I am glad that we at least
Into the
talked about it.
pit.
Into the Pit is a really fun. If you ever played stuff like Hexen back on the N64, if you played those kind of, it has that vibe. It's like really fast paced, a little bit like Doom, but then it also has that Hades or Curse of the Dead Gods vibe where you go into a little hub area, you have a few doors to pick from, you pick one, you go clear it out as quickly as you can, and then you pick the next direction, clear out quickly as you can. Like it's that vibe, but it's all first person. It's all very pixelated, kind of Doom graphics, but it runs super smoothly. I thought Into the Pit was a surprisingly fun little roguelike game, but anyway, not worth trying to force onto the list because there's other stuff here that I would probably put over it, like Tales of Iron. Did anyone else play Tales of Iron?
I have it downloaded. I just didn't get to it, and I'm really bummed because I knew this was like the episode to play it for.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. It's a really good. I highly recommend. And by the way, Tales of Iron is narrated by Doug Cockle, which is a great name, number one. But he voices Geralt from the Witcher series. And
Oh, really?
As I was playing that game, I was like, "What is this narrator's voice?" And then all of a sudden, there was a scene where he describes some evil tribe from the bog or something, and it all of a sudden I just instantly thought of
The
like,
bog,
"Oh,
of course! I just played all those missions.
I was
in
like,
Witcher.
"That's Geralt talking to me."
I've heard that word say like bog. I've heard him say
Bog.
that.
I've heard him say bog. Yeah.
It's actually a prequel to The Witcher.
But Tales of Iron is a really cool side-scrolling, very kind of purposeful. I wouldn't call it slow combat, but it's very purposeful combat. It's slower than some stuff for sure, but it's very difficult. Like you'll die a lot, but thankfully there's lots of these little benches that as soon as you sit on, it'll save your game, and that's where you reload. But lots of gear to find and upgrade your little rat character as you're trying to essentially take your kingdom back from these evil frogs that have come in and decimated everything. So anyway, that game is absolutely fantastic. Anybody else play Loop Hero?
No.
It really, even hearing you describe it and hearing everybody say how good it is, it still doesn't sound like it's up my alley. That type of gameplay. I don't know what it is.
Loop Hero is a game where you actually don't directly control your character. He literally goes on a loop. You just change the loop. You can pause it at any point, and you get these little tiles, these little cards to keep adding in that either add bonuses or they could make make things more difficult for you, but increase your chances of getting better loot.
I don't know. Then maybe I'd be into it.
And so you just keep going on this loop, fighting enemies, and you're basically making it more difficult for your guy while also powering him up. And then you get to a boss fight eventually. And listen, it's a kind of a weird game, but it's really fun.
It's like setting up the strategy and then just letting it autoplay, right? Like it just kind of.
And then you can also see your doom on the way. Like you hit pause, you're like, crap, I did two on this. I created like Death Alley right here, and I gave him no moment of peace. So he's gonna hit like enemy, and then a boss, and I'm screwed. Like it's one of those games with lots of risk, lots of reward. I think it's super old school graphics. I mean, it looks like if you look at any videos or images of it, it's like he looks like the little basketball player from an Atari game. You know what I mean? Like it's it's really. He's like that. Anyway, I think Loop Hero is cool. Hard to make a case for that one.
I haven't played either one, but my gut tells me that Eastward and Little Nightmares 2 makes sense to move over, but I haven't technically.
Well, if anybody else other than me had played Little Nightmares 2, I feel like it would be an obvious one for our 10 because it's that good in my opinion.
It's just, again, the first one was it's just such a unique little like kind of horror game.
Yeah. And
just really tense. And I just
I'm okay with putting it over here for now. Eastward for sure. Eastward's on my list for this. Yeah. I think Cyber Shadow at least deserves to be considered. Kyle, you played that, right?
Yeah, I love Cyber Shadow. I think it's awesome. Yeah.
I played it.
Super fun.
It's good. It's all right.
You suck at it. Just admit
it. It is not an easy game. You had to be good at like
it's hard. Yeah, I didn't beat it. It got too hard for me. I'm like, okay.
The Ninja Gaiden. You have to be good at the Ninja Gaiden type of games to succeed there.
Yeah.
All right, so we definitely have more than 10 over here, but are there any others that we haven't called out that you guys want to make a case for?
I think there are 0 games like Before Your Eyes, so I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. I know that some people in reviews and stuff argued that the blinking technology was like inconsistent or something. No. I didn't have that problem. But I don't know. I just think there are like no games out there like this where it relies on your blinking to kind of move the story forward. And the story being as good as it is, it just has no right to be that good. considering how experimental the game is. Normally, the gimmick overwhelms a story in that type of scenario, but the story is actually, it's just really devastating. It's really good.
I'm okay moving it over. Something's going to get bumped at the end anyway. So the ones that we are not considering for our top 10 would be Blue Fire, Boyfriend Dungeon, Dreamscaper, Inscription, The Ascent, Loop Hero, Tales of Iron, Into the Pit, Forgotten City, Travis of Midgard, and Unpacking. Anything that you guys disagree with?
I would bring The Ascent over, but if I'm the only one fighting for it, don't bring it over.
I just didn't play it a lot.
Yeah, The Ascent's awesome.
The Ascent is right by something like Inscription. I'm like, man, this is cool, but I didn't play it enough to really rank it, but I liked it a lot.
Yeah, if I had my top 10 indies, like top 10 list, like this would be high up there on there.
It's like Diablo Cyberpunk with with guns.
With a strangely good writing.
You know what was cool was they added that aim high mechanic, which was really unique, where you
looking over cover.
Or if there's like a stairway, you could kind of aim up and shoot at them before they come down the stairs. Stuff like that was kind of interesting. But again, I didn't really get past the first hub area. I did all the opening stuff. I got to the first hub. I kind of established stuff, and then I just kind of didn't play anymore after that. And that
city is super, super cool looking. It's a little confusing to navigate though. There's just a lot. There's a lot of like kind of paths and things.
It's really cool how I didn't expect that from a game like that.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
It felt bigger than I thought it was going to be whenever they were showing it off.
And the visuals on this game are amazing. Like if you
really good.
And the score.
And you have superpowers. Like you have there's like a whole skill bar and stuff like that where you're doing superpowers and stuff or hacking and whatnot. So
let's put that one on there. We'll figure out where it lands. So the ones we're leaving off are the ones I mentioned before. So there you go. Anyone have any strong?
I'll just say that if I had played Boyfriend Dungeon, or if any of us had played Inscription a little more than just the demo, then I feel like they would definitely have more of a shot for sure. And probably rank super high, I would imagine. Yeah. Because I've only heard great things about Inscription, especially.
Blue Fire is fun, by the way, if you like...
Don't believe you.
Like old school... I shouldn't even say old school, but maybe like last generation platforming. Actually, your little guy reminds me of remember that game Mini Ninjas? You guys ever play Mini Ninjas from back in the 360 days?
Yeah.
Little guy kind of looks like that, but anyway, it's kind of fun. There's lots of like wall jumping and tons of platforming. If you don't like 3D platforming, don't play this game. Lots of platforming, and takes a lot from Zelda and from a few other games here and there. So Blue Fire is pretty fun. All right, but those are not making lists. So far, we've got things like let me organize these.
Poor Forgotten City. It was like so acclaimed, and if we had beaten it, it would have been something else, I would imagine. But that's fine.
Looks like I forgot to play it.
I remember I got to the second conversation. I was like, I don't really want to do this. Like as I got into the second dialogue tree,
I don't really want to do this.
I was like, oh.
Yeah, I couldn't convince myself to be interested in it for whatever reason.
Yeah. So the ones that we're considering here, it looks like we've got about 13 or 14. 12 Minutes, Before Your Eyes, Curse of the Dead Gods, Cyber Shadow, Death's Door, Eastward, It Takes Two, Kana, Little Nightmares, Solar Ash, Artful Escape, The Ascent, and Valheim. So any strong feelings right out of the gate?
Valheim should be super high.
I mean, if
not number one.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. For me, it's my number one. So I know Tim and we haven't played it.
Put it up there as a solid top 5 then.
Put it up in the top.
We haven't played it again.
I think Kana goes in that same. Like it's a no. To me, it's a no-brainer.
I think so. It Takes Two then as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say if It Takes Two is in this list, then yeah, it's absolutely
gotta be up there. Yeah,
12 minutes because we all played it and beat it and seemed to like it.
Yeah, I couldn't stop. That was one of those games where I couldn't stop thinking about it.
No, I literally couldn't put it down until I beat it. So I was like, no, I'm not stopping this because I'm in a flow right now, and I'm not going to stop until I see the credits.
Don't stop me because I'm having.
Trying to think. Oh yeah, I actually don't have it ranked super high, but that doesn't mean that we can't as a group because I did like it. Oops.
What, as far as your personal best indies?
My personal best indies, yeah, I didn't have 12 Minutes ranked super high, but that doesn't mean I didn't like it. It was just more
your
like
screen being derpy.
There you go. How about now? Is it better now?
What's happening?
There we go.
Is it better now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Were you trying to get rid of that square or that like rectangle?
I was just trying to look at my personal list behind it.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
Sorry about that. My bad. Okay, yeah, 12 Minutes. I really wish more of you had played Death's Door because I just think that game is brilliant.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's very good. I would say definitely up.
I think everybody but me played that game. So.
Oh really?
I really make a case for it. Yeah.
I think that's top 5 then, and I think that's about right. Although Artful Escape probably should sit in that group too. Yeah. Artful Escape is interesting because it's not like an amazing video game to play, but boy, was it an awesome experience. Is that fair to say?
I agree.
Yeah, but like that's kind of like in the DNA or blood of an indie, though, is like a lot of them aren't games, they are experiences, you know. So
it's like basically everything about it, like the music, the visuals, the presentation is fantastic, and then like the gameplay is just kind of like it's almost like a walking simulator, so to speak, right? So it's like that. It's fine. It's just getting from point A to point B, but the experience is awesome. So
it is. It is. All right. Well, let's look at the bottom half here. So there's our top 6. We just have to figure out the order, I think. As far as the stuff at the bottom, it's the easiest ones to weed out are the ones that only one have played, for example, or that only one at least really want to champion, I should say. So am I the only one who would really champion Curse of the Dead Gods at this point? I feel like I probably am, right?
I mean, liked it, but I just didn't.
It's not super. It's kind of right near 12 minutes on my list, so it's not super high even on my personal list. So it's hard for me to justify it being super high.
I didn't play it, but like, I mean, I know everyone compares it to Hades, but is it like not? It's not as fast as Hades, though, right?
No.
It's close. The other problem with
the speed of Hades.
The other problem with it is that it is so much like Hades. I think if it had been its own unique thing and Hades hadn't just come out, we might be like, dude, Curse of the Dead Gods is brilliant. But there's a slightly better version out there called Hades. So and not even slightly. There's a better version out there called Hades. So I'll move that one down. Is it fair or is it mean to move Before Your Eyes down there too, since Jeff's the only one that played it?
I mean, I technically haven't. I haven't seen anything on it, but like just the way he describes it, like the blinking mechanic. I mean, gotta acknowledge that is very unique and cool.
It is unique, but do you care?
Well, I would play it, but I just
had. Okay, I'm like
it's one of the best
asking.
stories in any medium.
And that's an important factor as well.
Dude, unlike
like The Artful Escape is an experience. This game's an experience, and it's just
sure. And I'm not trying to minimize it. I'm just trying to get a feel how everyone feels about like.
See, I'm basically the antithesis of Derek. I actually like to cry and be human. So
sure. All right, so right now we're looking at Curse of the Dead Gods getting bumped off the list, so we can truly get down to 10 here.
I personally would. I know Dan brought it up. He hasn't played it. I personally would be okay with not putting Little Nightmares 2. I feel like I'm the only one that played it, so
sure.
Little Nightmares 2 would have to be bumped off because I don't have it in me to fight for that one and not Before Your Eyes.
We're getting to the bottom here, so
yeah. There's only one more that we have to bump, and I think it might need to be Cyber Shadow. Because
I feel icky about that.
I don't care about Before Your Eyes. I'm not saying it's not good or I wouldn't like it. Just I don't have any personal, other than I know Jeff likes it a lot and it does sound interesting. I don't really care that much about it. I think Eastward belongs on there. Solar Ash and The Ascent, I think, are both super high quality. I feel bad kicking those off. So to me, it's between these two. Like for me personally, I think it's between Cyber Shadow and Before Your Eyes to get bumped. I really enjoyed Cyber Shadow, but I understand if difficult Ninja Gaiden type platformers aren't your thing, I could see how you don't like it. But I thought it was great.
Should we do the thing where we rank it and then get the average or something? Like, because
I've played both of those games, and I just feel like I played many games like Cyber Shadow and no games like Before Your Eyes. So that's my stance.
Can I just throw out there that Cyber Shadow just sounds like a game that I played a long time ago in a bunch of different games that sound like Cyber Shadow. Like it just sounds like something that it has existed before, right? Cyber Shadow. I don't know.
That doesn't say anything. But yeah.
But you know what? It was also,
sounds like an old Nintendo game.
I don't care about Before Your Eyes, but I know that if I probably played it, like I'd be like, oh wow, I was wrong about this. But like I can't see the future, and I can't play a game I can't play. So.
Cyber Shadow was made by Yacht Club, I think, or at least published by them. I'm pretty sure
that one. Okay.
It's the Shovel Knight folks who at least published it. I think they made it too. But anyway.
Honestly, I'm fine with either one. We can put this to a vote, and then if not, do whatever the tiebreaker thing is. So.
Okay, but are we in agreement that Eastward, Solar Ash, and The Ascent stay on, or am I assuming too much there?
Yeah, Eastward's so good, and so is The Ascent. And you know my feelings on Solar Ash. So
that's another one that has to like kind of be fought for because I haven't played that one.
Yeah, so Eastward gives me super Nintendo vibes, a little bit even PS1 vibes. It's a little bit like, what's that movie? Bill Murray played the mayor in it.
Parks and Rec.
No, it's like the Underground City.
Parks and
What's that called? It's got they made a movie of it. It's based on a book. I'm blanking on it. There's a movie
I don't know. Oh,
based on a book series where they're underground. They think they can't go above ground. It's very similar to that. And there's this
well,
little.
I mean,
Go ahead.
there's a better
Metro?
description. There's a better description. What the hell is it called here in the States? A mother in Japan. Earthbound. Sorry, Earthbound. There we go. It's basically like a modern Earthbound, right? Or like looks pixelated, but no.
Kinda.
See,
There's elements
got-
of things like Earthbound and the
Okay.
Secret of Mana type game. There's elements of those, but it's really different. Like, and it's an action RPG, so
Sure.
it's all action based. But the story's really interesting. You got this father-daughter, kind of father-adopted daughter relationship going on that's kind of compelling. The writing is really good, and the music is
the writing is super good. Exploration's really cool. It's like an open map.
City of Ember is the movie / book series that I'm thinking of.
Oh, okay.
And it's the same thing where you've got this underground kind of society, and people in charge are telling you don't go above ground, it's dangerous. And but you start to kind of peel back the layers, like, is it though, or are they controlling us in some weird way? There's elements of that, and Eastward does some of that. But anyway, I think it belongs on there. I think Eastward is.
I think so
fantastic.
too.
I would get rid of Solar Ash before Eastward.
Oh, you're insane. But
I haven't played either, and I champion Solar Ash over Eastward. So
all right, that's fair. That's fair.
I think those three right there, Eastward, Solar Ash, The Ascent, make sense to stay. That's just.
I mean, yeah, those three have to stay in my opinion.
Yeah.
But if we're since three of us played Cyber Shadow, I feel. I mean, yeah, it. God damn it! All right, let's remove Before Your Eyes. This is stupid.
We can have it. We can have it.
Why is it not on your 10 then, Jeff?
Yeah, Jeff.
It's in my honorable mentions. Don't worry about it. That's why.
We can have
funny,
an impactful category, right?
Listen,
I can make a best category.
I was gonna say just make a best category.
Yeah,
and then...
I'll just make a best category that everybody else was wrong about. That's okay.
If Willem Dafoe were in Before Your Eyes, maybe it would have done better.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next
You're
time.
gonna cry now. That's what he'd say.
God.
Did I do too many? Is it? Let's see. 1, 2, 3.
Godspeed your
we're good.
tears.
I was gonna Godspeed tears.
Yes.
What?
Godspeed tears.
Yeah.
All right. So here's our 10. We just now need to get them in order. So we've got Valheim, Kena, It Takes Two, 12 Minutes, Death's Door, Artful Escape, Eastward, Solar Ash, The Ascent, and Cyber Shadow. I do feel like stuff like Eastward, like these four, kind of have to stay towards the bottom, since we just barely, like Cyber Shadow barely made the cup. I think it deserves it, but it makes sense to start it down here. Kyle, which did you like better? Which would you rank higher, Ascent or Cyber Shadow? I personally have the Ascent ranked just above it, actually.
Yeah, I have the Ascent higher than Cyber Shadow. Yeah.
Okay, so we're okay with that order.
Yep.
I would put Eastward over Solar Ash.
It's because you didn't play enough of it. That's all it is.
Probably.
If you just played the second area, you'd be like, Solar Ash is so good, and I can't stop playing it. I swear, it's so good. The open areas are just so fun.
Yeah, you could be right.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
But I mean, I'm fine with it swapping. I technically haven't played either one. Eastward looks more up my alley just a little bit, but I'm fine with them being swapped if that.
I think all of you would really like Solar Ash.
I'm saying
Eastward, honestly, I feel
Solar
like
Ash
both of
over
you would...
Eastward, so we're tied on this, but that's just me.
It's,
I
we're talking
either.
7-8. Whatever, it's fine. Let's just leave it.
No, let's swap it. I like swapping it. That way Jeff gets his favor and he owes us later.
No,
okay, cool.
It's all
You
about
have to
favorites.
fold on something now.
All about...
We're doing the numbers game.
No, I think
still
putting.
Two of us.
I think
Okay.
putting. I'm okay with giving Solar Ash the edge, and I'll give it this one thing: the combat is adrenaline pumping and invigorating, whereas in Eastward it's pretty. It can be pretty kind of repetitive, standard action adventure RPG, where you're just
it's like a melee with a pan, and that's
stay out of reach of the enemies, run back,
Yeah.
and then swing again. Whereas Solar Ash is completely unique combat, so I'll give him the edge there.
The combat and the traversal is like you can't do one without the other, basically. Yeah.
I like that. And then I think, like personally, I think Artful Escape and 12 Minutes are my 5 and 6. That's how I would do that. But if you guys like 12 Minutes more, we can leave it up higher. What do you think?
Dude, you could put 12 Minutes at the bottom for all I care.
Oh,
What?
I didn't know this. You don't like it that much?
No,
huh?
I did, but it's just the ending is shocking, but it kind of bugs me, to be honest.
Interesting. All right.
Like
Bugs a lot of
shocking,
people. I don't
yeah.
get it, but I know that a lot of people feel that way.
it kind of, I don't know, it kind of grossed me out a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of like the point.
No, I
Oh.
know.
That's
but
kind
it
of the
just-
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, I
Well,
appreciate.
a
the
piece of
shock.
art evoked a feeling out of you that you weren't prepared to feel? Huh. Is that the point
Don't
of
make
art?
me feel. Don't make me feel my own feels,
I
Kyle.
don't know. It's just.
Don't make me feel my own feels.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. Like I really enjoyed it. I liked their structure of telling the story. Kind of like, oh, what's
Yep.
this? Oh, that's interesting. Oh my gosh! Like I liked that. I
Yeah.
did.
Yes.
I would say that, but it sounds like Death's Door has like a lot of love in the gameplay
Yeah.
department. Like Death's Door should probably be above 12 minutes, and that's coming from
Yes,
someone who's
for
never
sure.
played 12 minutes.
I agree.
So, and if y'all liked the jolliness of Artful Escape more in 12 minutes, I wouldn't mind that being above
I
12
did.
minutes as well. So,
I
but
liked
that's
it
definitely
more.
better
and that's just me
vibes.
conceding. That's not my list. That's just I'm
So
trying.
you
to,
have 12 minutes higher, Kyle.
Yeah, I would have 12 minutes higher than Artful Escape.
I would
Yeah, but
too.
I wouldn't fight it against Death's Door though. Like,
Okay.
because I haven't played Death's Door, but I know it's something I would like, and you guys love it. So it's
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
feel like that's a good.
Even
I
with my
have-
brief time on Death's Door, it's outstanding. Yes.
I do have Artful Escape higher, but not so much that I'd be like, dude, 12 minutes doesn't belong up here. Like I don't have the same reaction that Dan just had to it.
Yeah.
Being at the bottom. I think this placement's
That was sarcasm, obviously.
Whatever. It's
To
too
be
late,
fair,
Dan.
To be
It
fair,
was real.
I haven't
We
played.
all
Sorry.
felt it. It was real. Just like
It was
you
real
felt
to
the
me, damn
ending
it.
and how real it was.
That's right. That's right.
Made me feel gross.
Hey, sometimes. Oh, I can't even spoil it. Never mind.
Yeah.
I was gonna do a really bad
All
Listen,
right.
Sometimes
I
you
like-
gotta stab your wife.
joke.
Listen, I liked the.
I
Journey.
did hit a point in that game where I was trying some pretty messed up
Mhm.
stuff to
Yeah,
advance
yeah.
the story.
Yep. Yeah. I was
I,
too.
I think It Takes Two should be above Kana.
I do
Yeah.
too.
I do too.
All right, we're jumping into the top 4 here. So for me personally, I think I've got. I have to double check my list here. I have to use my phone so I don't mess up the screen. I
It
didn't have.
changed back when you checked it, so it's fine.
I didn't even have It Takes Two on my indie list.
Sure.
Right.
That does kind of mess up my. It's hard for me to place exactly where that would be without thinking about it a little bit. But I would put Death's Door and Kana like neck and neck for that second spot behind Valheim. If I'm just ignoring It Takes Two for just a quick second. That's my personal list. Is I've got Valheim at the top, and then Kana and Death's Door for me personally are neck and neck. So,
Yeah.
what do you guys think? Does It Takes Two kind of trump all of it for you, or
Yes,
how does that?
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely for me
No
too.
hesitation.
But the thing is that I have so much FOMO for Valheim. If y'all want to like push that to number 1, I'd be like, well, I know
No,
a
it is
guy
number
who-
1. That's what's gonna happen right now.
Oh, okay. Well, then throw that at number. For me, it would be Valheim, It Takes Two, Kana, Death's Door. That's how it would be for me.
That's honestly how I
Yeah.
would do it too. But
Yeah.
Solid.
yeah, it sounds like all of us. Even though you guys put in way more time than I did, it sounds like Valheim just left such an impression.
Valheim's the thing I want to play more than anything, like in the world.
Yeah.
Like, it's,
Like
it's-
I'm literally thinking
I
about.
so feel like I'm like out of the loop on it, and like I've watched so many hours of play on it, and I've heard y'all
Yeah.
talk about it so much. Like
Every day I go out there and I play on my PlayStation, and then I just feel sadness because Tim hasn't invited me to play Valheim in like months, and just I'm consumed
assume
with
he's
sadness.
playing it and just ask him.
I'm
you know?
consumed with
just join.
sadness because
Dude,
dad doesn't want to play with me. All right,
You're asking the guy with 34 kids to like make plans with you. Like you make plans, you
No,
hooligan.
it's 37. It's 37.
You
not 34.
hooligan?
Don't call me a goddamn hooligan.
Kyle, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that right now. That is so true. That is so accurate. I one that I didn't even include on here. I guess I must have removed it from our list, thinking, this isn't really indie. Was Ruined King, a League of Legends story? That's not technically
Yeah.
indie, but it has that same small game vibe to it.
Sure.
I would call it indie because it's 30. You know, if we're talking about dollars, we're talking about small vibes. We're talking, I think it hits a lot of check.
I'm just gonna write it in our round 1 so it gets credit for having been included.
Yeah.
It's another one that I can't wait to play once it goes on sale. So.
Kyle, just a little side note there. I appreciate you throwing out the word hooligan. I taught my niece the word hooligan when she was like, I don't even know, like 1.5, 2, and she has not forgotten that word. It
Good.
just comes out of her mouth all the time.
Smart lady.
She loves that word.
Yeah. It's a great word.
It's a fun word to say, especially for a child, I would imagine. So
absolutely.
All right,
she calls me a hooligan all the time.
I like for our shared group, and I appreciate you guys keeping Death's Door as high as you did. Like for me personally, that one's up really high on my overall list as well as on my indie list. So I think 4 is a fair spot for it on our shared list. For me, Kena and It Takes Two. So I'm in the middle of It Takes Two right now. My son and I have been playing it. I think we've gotten 3 sessions in. We're enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. I think there's something about the lighthearted, which is charming, lighthearted goofiness of it that I liked Kana's more serious, heavy take better. I don't know why. This is going to probably sound silly, but Kana was a much more sincere and maybe overly serious at times game, and I just liked that a lot more. Whereas It Takes Two is doing a really charming job of taking a heavy topic and kind of making it silly, and you've got this like weird Antonio Banderas love book talking to you and dancing all the time.
Totally not racist. Totally not
racist. It's not racist at all.
But honestly, some of those moments make it a tad more off-putting than something like Kana, where I was pulled in the entire time. And with It Takes Two, sometimes I honestly kind of roll my eyes, like, oh boy, like and it's not because the game isn't fun. Gameplay-wise, by itself, it's amazing.
See, and the thing is like Jeff and I bring out a lot of goofiness in each other, and this game brought out a lot of goofiness out of the both of us. So like those moments that are like eye roll inducing, like he and I are like hysterically laughing at.
That's fair.
Like, so I don't know if there's something about like playing it with a peer, you know, where you're like you're forcing innuendos and you're forcing all this stuff on this game or whatever. Like I don't know. There's something about that made it one of the better experiences in the year for me. Whereas Kana, I'm like, yeah, it was a game that like you did stuff in an open world. I don't know. It just felt kind of like run of the mill open world stuff.
Tim, you actually I think I don't know if it was in the chat or in the last episode we recorded. You said it kind of gave you like almost like an older PlayStation, like maybe original PlayStation kind of vibes, like something a little old school, a little kind of like simple. Like I think that now that I've been playing it, I definitely get those vibes for sure.
Yep.
I think there's just kind of, I don't know, the structure of it is a little loosey-goosey though. I think you guys mentioned that it's like you barely know anything about Kana. Like the game literally starts, you just like jump down into a cave and then you just start going and like nothing, or there's like a
you're
like
already a spirit guide. Welcome to it. That's it.
There's like a little paragraph actually right before that, but it's like, oh, paragraph, read the words, and then you're just in a cave and it's like go. It's like, okay, sure. I don't think it's overly serious. I think it's appropriately serious. I mean,
I will say too that by the end I was still disappointed that I'm like, oh, I was still kind of waiting for the who Kana really is type moments, and there's not really. You're right, there really isn't that.
There's a little bit of stuff here and there. She mentions her dad and the staff that she has.
That's about as deep as it gets, though.
Yeah. So
it's not really a personal story for her as much.
That's fair. Yeah. I'm okay with It Takes Two being above it. I just wanted to at least highlight that. For me personally, I had Kana higher. I feel like it probably also has to do with it being multiplayer required for It Takes Two. I think it's fun, but I also, when it comes down to it, I just personally like single player games better. I just do. Even though the multiplayer in It Takes Two is brilliant and creative, and even the first opening area, the hammer and nail stuff, I think is some of the best like dual
people
puzzles.
think about that. Yeah, it's so crazy to me.
It's
like
so good.
Conceive this, and I usually enjoy single player stuff more than multiplayer stuff too. And like you better believe Jeff and I had to like really force time to like make us get through this game together.
Yeah.
It is long. It's 9 to 12 hours, you know. So, but boy, I wouldn't trade any of those hours away for the whole year. Game.
It's for me, a multiplayer just depends on what we're doing, and if it's a game like It Takes Two or A Way Out, then I'm actually thrilled to play that with somebody.
Can't wait to meet you next year, Jeff, and play what's his face's new game. So
It Takes Three.
It Takes Three.
It Takes Three. Oh, the daughter's going to be one of the yarn.
So Dan, you have It Takes Two above Kana.
Even though
I know that's hard to compare, but
I know, even though I technically didn't finish It Takes Two, I think there's something there for me, just slightly quality wise, just if you're kind of just overall, comparing the two, I think just slightly above Kana. Yeah.
And then Jeff and Kyle, same boats for you guys.
Yeah. I think, I mean, the only measure that I would count against It Takes Two is since we're in the indie category, like Kana had less resources, yada yada, to produce such a beautiful product, blah blah blah, that type of stuff. That's the only thing that could go against It Takes Two.
We haven't really said anything about Valheim, what knocks against that one, especially if you spent time playing it,
There are none.
like does
It is flawless.
Oh, you guys are picking an unfinished game to be number 1. It's fine. It's cool. Whatever.
Yeah.
Good job, guys. No. Good job, guys. Y'all are doing great.
I will
job,
say,
guys.
I think it's because
I don't know why we haven't really become a successful podcast yet. Thanks a lot, guys. Good job.
No, it's just our reputation on the line. It's no big deal. Good job.
Oh, yeah.
No,
What
good job.
reputation? What reputation?
serious reputation that we have online. I will say my dad has, like I said, he's 900 hours in his game.
That's insane.
He has a ton of pigs on his farm, and like so many. He has a pig farm that's like a separate area of the map.
Oh my
And you
God.
walk in, and it's like the game just lags horribly because there's so many pigs. So I don't know if
That's
that's
awesome.
a him problem or a game problem, but that's the only knock I can think of.
That sounds like a him problem. That's
Yeah.
a lot of pigs.
He
That's a
also
lot of-
has one of those big monsters that look like bison, but they're bigger.
The
Lox or something.
locks.
Yeah. He has a farm of those too, tamed ones, and there's like a ton of them. I'm like, oh my god, dude.
Well,
those are
900
the-
hours. I mean,
Yeah.
Those loxes are the things in the plains when you first see them. When you first figure out in the plains how to survive the death skeetos, you're like, okay, I just need a good shield and a quick swinging weapon, and actually not that bad to take on. And so as soon as you start to safely explore the plains, and you see these big, giant, they look like yaks or something, but the mega sized. And
Mhm.
so you're like, oh, these guys look cool. You kind of go close to them. They're not really attacking you. And then all of a sudden they see you because it takes them a while to notice you.
Yeah.
And they will destroy you quick. Like they'll just start raising up and slamming the ground. You're like, run away, run away.
Yeah, I don't know how my dad tamed so many. Because my brother told me he plays too. He's got somewhere closer to you guys, like 300 hours or whatever. My brother was like tamed one of them, and he was like, okay, I'm good. I'm never doing that again because it destroyed so much when he tried.
jeez.
Yeah, it's
It's
not
not
easy.
worth it.
But yeah, to me that's a number one. I feel like that game just for me. I don't know if it has to do with maybe a slower start to the year with gaming, and that one hit at the right time,
It
and I
really
just
did.
was able to spend a lot of time with it. But it just something about the way they did the survival and open world exploration.
Yeah.
Dude, it just felt magical. It's not many games do that for me where I was just like, oh, look, what's this area? Like, I just felt so, this is going to sound so cheesy, but it kind of gave me that like childlike wonder of exploring that I don't
Yeah.
get with a lot of games.
It hits the sweet
Yeah.
spot of like not being it's just difficult enough where it's just
Yeah.
super fun and you don't really get frustrated with it unless you just like mess something up on your or like I don't know
Yeah.
something sneaks up behind you like one of the giant trolls and you're just not seeing them or whatever. But
Mhm.
even then it's like you run away and it's like, oh, that was insane. Like
Yeah,
And
yeah.
once you get comfortable with one area, then you explore the next one. You're like, oh man, there's all kinds of new stuff here. And
yeah.
it's just it's a really great sense of progression as you unlock silver and then black metal. It just kind of feels really
Yeah,
cool.
my dad had to give me a tour. His portal room is insane, by the way. It's like 101 floor. It's stupid. But he
That's
gave
it?
me a tour of like here's what this side of the map looks like. And I'm just like blown away at how vast that universe is. It's just wild. Like
By the way, they just added a cartography table. I don't know if you guys have seen that yet, where you can upload all of your discoveries from your map, and then any other player that comes in your world can go download it,
okay.
and they can now see all the
That's
stuff. That you
cool.
can see on your
Nice. There
map.
we go. Nice.
So that's pretty cool.
and
Anyway,
again, it makes it so indie and small. Is like these developers, they just got 10 people on their team or something. Like
Yeah.
they're still a tiny freaking developer.
one of their big hires was just essentially a community person because they were tired of trying to respond to they're trying to program and
Sure.
code.
Yeah, trying to do a
and-
job.
and
Yeah.
squash bugs, and they're trying to also respond to the insane amount of players that all of a sudden flocked to their game. And so yeah, even just hiring that person I think was a big
I
deal.
mean,
for
how
them.
many millions was it in like the first like not even month? I think it was
I
like
forget.
it was like
I
it was
forget.
a few million, and it was like less than a month that they sold.
Yeah.
It was like
It was
that's
a lot.
Streamers
insane.
blew them up, I think, and that
Yeah.
I
A lot.
mean, they're not going to complain about it. I'm sure. You know.
All right. Well, I think
Oh.
we've talked ourselves into it, and Valheim, It Takes Two, and Kana are kind of our runaway top three
Yes.
on our shared ranking. And then at number 4 is Death's Door, followed by 12 Minutes, The Artful Escape, Solar Ash, Eastward, The Ascent, and Cyber Shadow. I think that's pretty fair based on what we all said. Is there anything that I missed or any order that you guys feel is not accurate
I mean, again,
for us as a group?
12 minutes is gross, but
Nope,
whatever.
that's not
guys.
true.
That's the point, but you know,
Wrong.
Well,
you're a child.
12 minutes
so
This
it's
is
deserves
not-
to
like
be
How
on
I Met
this
Your
list.
Mother all over again. I'm like, that point just went right over his
No, it's
head.
even more
It's
gross.
crazy
It's
to
even more-
me that
actually,
point,
I don't know.
that point was so out of grasp for him.
Dude, it's
Not
got
aggressive.
Willem Dafoe. It's got Willem Dafoe. Okay, so
That gives it points. Yes, absolutely.
Godspeed,
Hey,
McAvoy.
literally started like an inside joke on this podcast, like with your thumbnails. This game,
Yeah.
but sure,
True.
you hate it all you want, I guess.
yeah.
Well, no, I love Willem Dafoe.
It's just your art. That's all.
I love Willem Dafoe.
It's just
Your art is the
Listen, he
prettiest art.
redeems
You
the
don't care about
grossness. All right, he redeems it.
Sure. Okay, I'll buy that.
There you go. There's our top 10 best indie/small games of the year. Take that with a grain of salt because we kind of try to define it at the jump. Valheim, It Takes Two, Kena Bridge of Spirits, Death's Door, 12 Minutes, The Artful Escape, Solar Ash, Eastward, The Ascent, and Cyber Shadow. There you go. So there's we did it, guys. We successfully.
I'm gonna be honest. It's a good list.
Shared list. We
Really
made
good
it.
about that list. I really want to like go play Death's Door and Eastward and a few of these like tonight.
I feel
Solar
like
Ash.
those. Yeah,
Solar Ash, I've just been waiting to go on sale. Like for whatever reason, I look at that game and I know it's worth $40, but I look at $40 and I go, I don't want to spend that right now.
Dude, I'm with you.
I get
I know.
Yeah.
I'm with you. But I used some Epic stuff because it was on sale on Epic to grab it.
It was same with Kena. I waited for Kena to go on sale. I got her for 27, I think it was. So
Yep. All right. Well, then our next personal category before we rank our favorite Nintendo games, which should be a smaller list probably than the indie list was, but we'll see. Personal list: best exploration/open world, and I purposefully didn't define this because that could mean something different for you than it does for someone else. In general, it could be I just loved the environment. Exploring it was just my favorite. Or maybe you liked the way they designed exploration. A good example on my personal list, it's in my top 5, is the game Hitman 3. It's not an open world game, but I love the way they did exploration in that game. The way that you go and you discover stuff and then you can go back and re-explore. So that's how that's why this is not a shared ranked list. Like define it however you want to. But that's my number 5. Is Hitman 3, just barely beating out stuff like Deathloop and Metroid Dread, which I think had great exploration elements of their own. But I go Hitman 3 there. And then number 4 for me is Halo Infinite. Loved that open world and thought it was super fun to explore. It was beautiful to look at, really fun to navigate as well. That was a big part of it. For me, number 3, I know I just talked it up. No, that was number 2. Number 3 is Far Cry 6. Really fun, really cool open world. I think it's probably their best version of the Far Cry formula yet, personally. Number 2, we just talked about it a lot. That's Valheim. I love that open world. I thought it was beautiful in its own kind of weird pixelated but cool lighting way. Like it's hard to describe until you try it.
It looks so cool. The sky is beautiful.
Really a cool design to that game, and get out in the ocean. It's just great. I love Valheim. But to me, number 1, it's Forza Horizon 5. That's by far been my favorite open world experience. If I just think about exploring, finding another race, finding another sign to break, finding another jump to hit, I just think that's my favorite open world experience of the year. So, Kyle, what about you?
Skip me. I'm cultivating my list right now.
All right, fair enough. Dan,
come back to me.
So I did so number 1 is Valheim. That's the real answer, Tim.
Yep, that is the real answer.
And then I did Ghost of Tsushima Iki Island.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, that one that one felt just as good. Yeah.
Nice.
Just as good, just as beautiful.
You guys said that's about equal to the size of one of the main 3 sections in the original game, right?
It's a big island.
It's a decent size. Yeah, I don't know.
Bigger. I would say bigger.
I would say it's a little bigger than like the smallest part of the main map.
Okay.
Island.
Okay, sure. Which is at the top? That's the top one, right?
The final one.
Yeah. And then I did Forza Horizon 5 after that. And then you just reminded me Deathloop. I definitely would throw that one in there.
Yeah.
And then Far Cry 6. I like that they returned back to like kind of the jungle of like the first couple of Far Cries. I think that's where Far Cry really kind of works its best, is when it's in the jungle.
I also love just parachuting / gliding from any point.
Oh, gliding is so awesome. What a great addition.
So fun.
Yeah.
All right. I have my list now, I guess.
All right, let's hear it.
Sorry for the delay. Iki Island, thank you for that one, Dan. I think that one was just so well crafted, and you weren't taking very many steps until you were hitting some sort of event or side quest or something like that.
Right.
It just felt full. Like it just felt full of things to do. Hitman 3, some of the greatest level design maybe ever. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe ever.
Was it that Knives Out level? I mean, come on.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Even the like raver warehouse level. And I feel like that one always gets like second bump to like Knives Out level, because obviously, But like that warehouse like party level was out
Had
of
no
this
business
world.
being that good.
Had no business being that
Yeah.
good. And why are we not talking about that level like
Yeah.
we are the other
So
one?
good.
You know?
So good.
Anyways,
Even just getting into that place was really creative.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm like super excited to actually go back and like play that game more.
Yeah. So fun.
The next one I have, my number 3 is Life is Strange. Just enjoy walking around that town. Like
Yeah.
it's really small, but like you really understand your sense of space very quickly in that town.
It's a cozy town.
And you're talking about like the idea of just like there are multiple times that we've talked about it in the chat too, where I'm just like, I'd live there. Yeah. That seems great. So
you guys basically do, right?
We do kind of.
no,
Colorado,
nothing like
right?
that. Yeah.
No? It's nothing like that at all.
Yeah,
But I
I
will
live in the
say
suburbs.
they also reward you in Life is Strange for doing that, because you'll have new conversations or even maybe help someone that you would have skipped completely if you didn't explore.
And like since it's a quiet town, like even when you go down like the alleyways, you're like, oh, this is the back of the flower shop, and like look at all these like beautiful flowers, or I don't know. There's no ugly place in that world.
By the way, did you guys help get that couple together who were just friends?
Yeah.
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah.
I got
Same.
the first part of the conversation. I guess I didn't conclude that arc, but
Very satisfying.
No, you hate love, Dan. It's
fine.
Really, I hate love.
Yeah.
I hate love. I love love.
To your
Morpheus
credit, like
cringe?
it's so easy
Or
to
not
miss things in
Morpheus.
that game because like every corner does
I
have
meant Neo,
something.
not Morpheus.
Yeah. Every corner of that game does have something to do, and if you progress like the story like too quickly, like you can miss entire sections of progressing little missions like that. So
Yeah, because when you finished the thing, it was like, oh, you didn't see this thing. I was like, oh, I didn't even. Oh, god damn it! Like I totally missed.
No,
like,
there was quite a few times that I missed stuff, and I was just like, oh man.
Yep.
Yeah.
I missed nothing. I platinumed that game. I'm perfect.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, you are, Jeff.
Well,
I am perfect. Perfect cell over there. Am I right, Kyle?
Yeah. Right. My number 2 is Lost Judgment. Here's another game that's just like there's so many things to just do. Any direction you walk in, 10 steps later, like you're in the middle of a side mission or something interesting to do. And my number 1 is Forza Horizon 5 because like holy crap, like one of just the most utilized maps ever, and like every inch of this world, regardless of what type of race you're doing, like the race is always good. Like it feels like a well-designed race map that someone just created just for a second, you know. Sure. And I wonder if they do that and then just connect roads to these like race maps or whatever, because like that's how good that they feel. They feel so organic, like in these worlds. And I don't know. I think this is one of the greatest open world games ever, and I cannot wait for their Fable. And I think that they're going to translate a lot of these lessons of how to create an open world into their new Fable game.
Yeah, cannot wait for their Fable. Agree with that. Jeff, what about you?
A lot of them people have already said. Hitman 3 for sure is up there just because of level design. Thanks for mentioning that because I didn't have that in there. I only had 4 before. Then I would go Solar Ash. I felt like exploring in that game was actually very gratifying. Like the first area is fine, you know, you figure out the currency in the game in that first area, but it's like all the other, there's like 5 or 6 areas total or whatever. There's more than that area, basically. It's like 4 other areas, and each one it just feels totally different to explore, and you can find new suits there. There's just a bunch of cool nuggets of information you could find about people that had tried this before you, had tried stopping the black hole or whatever. So that's really fascinating, that open world. And then, like everybody said, Forza is really great. I don't know how they went up themselves from 4, but they did it perfectly. Like it's just every corner you turn, there's something freaking cool to do.
Yeah.
You drive like up around a volcano in this game.
Yeah.
And then jump off of it.
And then driving down that, like down like the black ash side of it or whatever, like it's out of this world. Like that game is so incredible. It's out of this world.
And it's really cool that being set in Mexico, there's so many different types of, I don't know, what do you call them? Landscapes, I guess,
Biomes,
to look at. Like with the volcano, with the beaches and the desert type areas, you know,
the jungly areas.
Yeah, and how there's like different, you know, weather events based on where you are. I think that's really cool. And then Halo Infinite impressed the heck out of me. With that, I didn't expect that open world to be as cool as it was, and gratifying to take down, you know, the strongholds or the just the regular bases you can fast travel to and stuff like that.
Without being overwhelming, where it's like, man, there's
Yeah.
too much to do. Yeah.
Yeah. I unlocked everything at my own pace, basically. I didn't do the last quarter of the map until it was like the story took me there, basically. And some of those you don't have a choice. Like some of those, you have to go further in the story before you can go to the bottom quadrant of the map. But yeah, I love that. I love that open world. It felt really cool. And then number one is Valheim, just because that open world is like ever changing and feels infinite. So yeah, even in my short time in that game, compared to others, that open world just really impressed me.
They do have an update coming in early next year, which means, Dan, we likely will need to reset our map for it to actually work, because they're adding all kinds of caves and tunnels in the mountains. And
how's that going to work?
To discover
Is that soul crushing to you guys, or do y'all know it so well now it's really easy to get back to a place of prospering?
I'm good with it. I'm good with it. I've done 3 maps and explored good chunks of each of them. And
so you're like, you could probably rebuild pretty quickly then.
Yeah, and I think some of the fun is that I think the building is by itself a super
Same
fun.
here. I actually that's the parts like when people are like, "Oh, Minecraft's so dumb." Like, I actually really like Minecraft, and those are the moments of Minecraft
I spent about a week every evening for about a week building this castle, which Dan won't come look at because he's mean to me. But I built this castle, and it's so. I mean, I have like a hot tub in there, and we've got like Christmas trees all over it. Like it's so.
You're talking about in the Snowy Mountain? We built that together, Tim.
No, not that one. There's one I built near our current main fort. There's a new castle that I built. Anyway, so they added all this stuff, and I built a bunch of stuff in there. But like when they launch this new update, sounds like it'll be maybe February when that comes out. I'll happily jump into a brand new map, let it all because if you try to play it in your current map, the only places where the new stuff will spawn is if you haven't explored there yet. And as the map uncovers, it's like, well, we can't spawn our stuff where you.
So you're saying we have to start over,
basically.
Okay.
Well, we keep all the skills and we bring all our stuff over.
Okay. Yeah. Well, sure. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Anyway, all that to say, I agree. Valheim is amazing. There's something about Forza this year, this version of Forza Horizon, that caught my attention in a way that 3 didn't quite do. I thought it was fun though. The DLC was fun. Yeah. I thought 4 was really cool and I enjoyed it. I know Derek gets real mad, like, guys, this is how it's always been. I'm like, I don't know. No. It's not though, because something about 5 has been special, and I don't know what it is, but it's special. So
yeah, I didn't jump into 3 or 4 as much as I love those games, and I even put them in my 10 of that year and put them pretty high. Yeah.
I think 5 is more
this one, Forza 5, spoilers, I guess, is like my #1 game of the year. Like, and I didn't, going into this year, I didn't expect that, but like, it's just the fact that I keep jumping in and finding something, even though you're doing the same things as just racing, I find something just as fun to do all over again.
I think it's just a more pleasure environment, right? I mean, no offense to like the UK, but like it's all
London side. That game was good. That area, I just hated being.
It's just not as pretty to look at, right? It's just
there wasn't a lot of diversity either. So it just, you were kind of in that same kind of looking area. Like Australia had a little more diversity, but even
it did. Australia was a cool map. Yeah.
It was a cool map, but it was a lot smaller. Obviously, like now we're able to get maps so much bigger, and there's just something about this map that's just so. It's out of this world. Like there is something different about this game from the other 2. And again, like Jeff, I'm the kind of guy who's had those games in my top 10s as well. It's just, this game's special. I don't know what to tell you. Sorry, Derek.
It is.
Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Right?
All right. Well, let's go into our final category for this week, and that is best. Oops, there it is. Best Nintendo game of the year.
That's a lot more.
Did I just kick Jeff off the call by accident?
Well, I think he muted and.
Okay. All right. Well, he'll rejoin us, or he's like, I hate Nintendo. I'm out of here. Who knows?
Probably. Yeah, maybe it's a bit. I don't know.
Derek showing up for the Nintendo part is fun.
Yeah, that's funny to me too.
So Nintendo, I think, had a pretty solid year. I think they put out some really cool games. They put out some games that I don't care about, but they also put out more that I care about compared to the previous year. 2020 was a tougher year for me because we had stuff like Animal Crossing that are huge Nintendo hits that have so many fans, including both of you, that I just can't get into. So 2020 wasn't as strong of a Nintendo year for me personally. 2021, though, I'm looking at this list now. I think there's some really, really good stuff here. So I don't know that we'll have
Miitopia, right? That's what you're talking about.
Dude, my eyes went right to Miitopia. Hey, there he is. Here's the biggest Nintendo fan.
Yeah, I'm so glad the biggest Nintendo fan showed up for this.
It won't hurt my feelings if you decide to leave once you realize the last category we're covering tonight is Nintendo. So, and then we're moving on to others. But you only have yourself to blame because I said it.
I'm happy to see you all the same.
Oh no.
Oh no. So we're doing
What
best
are we doing?
Nintendo. There are a whole bunch of games here. If I got some wrong, if for some reason they did come out on another console, let me know. But here are the rules that I set forward for most console exclusives. If it came out on PC and mobile as well, either or, I still consider it a console exclusive. For me, it's more about, especially because the concept of our podcast when we launched it, when Dan and Derek and I launched it, was Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony. How do we create a really fun dynamic between those main three console creators and those environments, while also talking about PC games and general third-party stuff at the same time. So we still like maintaining the best console exclusive of the year. They're just very different environments. So that's what this is meant to be. If there's something on here that you're like, this doesn't belong here, it was also on Xbox or on PlayStation, just let me know. But I'm pretty sure I went over these 2 days ago, and as far as my Googling could tell me, it seemed like these are all Nintendo exclusives.
Yeah.
So I won't read them all off to you. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the list now. But we'll just go around, and if there's any that you want to say, hey, this needs to be somewhere considered for our top list, just name them off. Derek, welcome to the show. I'll let you start first. What Nintendo game needs to be considered for their best of the year?
Monster Hunter Rise.
All right.
Yes.
Dan?
Metroid Dread, of course.
Kyle?
Bravely Default 2.
All right. Jeff?
Dude, I played like 5 of these. What do you want me to say? Eastward.
Eastward. There you go. All right. I'm gonna throw. I haven't even played it, but I'll put Shin Megami Tensei 5 over. That has to be on there.
Absolutely.
I just haven't.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Haven't
I was
played
gonna
it.
move it over.
Derek, any others on here that you feel like we need to include?
So it's a top 10, right? So
Yeah, top 10.
Throw Cruise and Blast over.
Yes.
Okay, what about you, Dan?
Dude, Busta Fellows. Have you seen the Kyle Bossman thing on Busta? No?
Yeah,
I haven't.
yeah. If you have
Okay.
Bustafellas on your list.
have
I haven't played it, but I think you liked it a lot, Tim, right? Monster Hunter Stories 2? Or
Yeah, I played through the demo as long as it would let me. That was really good.
Okay. Yeah, throw that on there.
Okay. Kyle?
No More Heroes 3.
There it is. I knew one of you played it. I couldn't remember who it was. Okay. Jeff?
Dreamscaper.
Hey, I just got to give a shout out to my wife real quick. She just delivered me a chocolate chip oatmeal cookie bar.
What?
Oh. Nice.
Wife of the year.
She's trying to get you fat, bro.
They're still warm.
Wow.
Nice.
Wife of the year, right?
Oh
Magic.
my goodness. Holy crap. All right, that's amazing.
Get
Okay.
you fat.
All right, I missed
Trying
the
to
last
get you
one because
fat.
I was distracted. Yeah, she was trying to get me fat. That's all right. That's a good way to do it. I missed after No More Heroes 3. What did we say?
Oh, I said Dreamscaper.
Dreamscaper, yeah. That's a good one. Any other ones? Just throw them out there if you see any others. Who cares
Nobody
about
cared about Mario Golf or Mario Party.
I didn't play them.
I mean, I like Mario Party, but I don't
What
know
about
if
Snap?
it's...
You played Snap, didn't you, Dan? Is that not?
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to. I would say WarioWare probably slightly above those two, if I'm going to be
Okay.
honest.
All right.
Yeah, let's just move them over.
Because
for
it's just
consideration.
quirky and
Move,
Yeah, 'cause they're
move Snap over.
Nintendo
just because.
titles, so-
Sure.
I did not play Mario Golf. It's been one of those ones that I keep meaning to, try out. But did anyone else play it to even talk about it at all?
Yeah, I played it, but I just didn't like it that much.
Nobody liked it. Like, I feel like this is one of the most rejected Nintendo games of the year, really.
I'm
This is
moving
Mario
Loop
Golf.
Hero over, even though I don't think
Sure.
it'll make the list. We'll see.
I played Road 96. That's like a Telltale type of game. It's not best though. It's not in that category. It's decent if you like the Telltale type stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
My son played the demo for Game Builder Garage. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a charming little beginner's guide to programming, basically. It's cute. It's a cute little coding thing,
Yeah.
but not necessarily worth. Dan, you played Mario Party. Is that worth considering as a best Nintendo game of the year, or is it truly kind of just a rehash of old Mario parties?
Well, yeah, because again, I would say WarioWare, if you're gonna pick one of those type of games, because they're fairly similar party games, I would say keep WarioWare and we can skip Superstars.
Yeah, WarioWare has a unique nature to it. Right?
It is. Superstars is fun, and again, it looks really nice, like kind of the sort of updated visuals of these classic boards. But yeah, I would say WarioWare is it's just quirky, so it just kind of sticks out more to me. So
Okay. All right. Well, then there you go. There's our selection for best Nintendo. Do we even have 10 there? Let's see.
Yeah, that's 10. That's more than 10.
All right, cool.
Like 13 or something, isn't it?
Excellent.
Something.
So at least
Yeah.
we'll have to make some cuts. That's good.
So we'll just leave it like this, right? This is our top 10. Gratefully default at the top.
That's totally it. All right. So what are some of the obvious ones that we don't even need to really debate because they'll be in the top 10? We don't have to cut them, like Metroid
Oh,
Dread,
Metroid
and Monster,
Dread. Yeah.
and Monster Hunter Rise, right?
Yeah. Shin
Um,
Megami.
Shin Megami Tensei, is that an obvious one? I
Yeah.
think. Bravely Default 2. A couple of you have played that now, right? Is that-
Derek, you seem like you're actually enjoying that. Is that still the case, or?
Yeah, but I played it on Master Race, not on Switch, bro.
Okay.
But
well,
how is it?
Wow.
very happy for you.
you
Yeah,
like-
I'm asking
do
you
you
how
like
it is,
it?
not what you looks like.
I think it's pretty cool. I mean, it's Bravely Default. If you don't like Bravely Default, stop playing games.
That's fair.
Sure.
That's generic. I don't
It's
like
very
it. I
blunt.
played the demo, didn't like it, so you can suck it. I'm right, you're wrong.
Listen, I'd like to suggest that No
Nonsense.
More Heroes 3 has to be in the top 10 for Nintendo games this year, right?
Sure.
I didn't even play it, but is that crazy? I
It's
don't
just
know.
it's weird as hell, and it should just be there. Just do it.
I feel like it should be up there. Same with Cruise and Blast. Like, I know it didn't review amazing, but it's exactly what you expect. It's the Cruisin' games.
It's
Which, by
on
the
sale
way,
right now for $20.
I have
so-
heard that they're talking
Year?
about doing the full trilogy of Cruisin' games and bringing them over, which would be
Yeah.
cool. Like Cruisin' World, Cruisin' USA. That'd be awesome.
I'd be here for that. Yeah.
Okay. I think based on our conversation on indie games, because that's what you've missed so far, Derek, by the way, was you missed indie games. So I know you're sad about that.
I'm really upset.
I feel like Eastward should
Devastated.
probably be on our list based on the fact that
I
it's
agree, honestly, with Eastward.
so good.
Yeah.
Which means let's see, Pokemon Snap, WarioWare, those are pretty major Nintendo games. Are we not
Yeah.
including those? What do you think?
I feel
We
like
need-
WarioWare should be
We
up there.
need
I didn't even
three
play it.
more. I would say Monster Hunter Stories.
So good. Yeah. Although
Is
I
it
didn't
really
play
that
it all
good?
the way. It's I mean, if you like JRPGs, it's amazing.
I love it. Yeah, I remember playing the first one, just being I don't know if something didn't click about it, but everybody loves this demo or this game.
I've only played the demo, so I can only speak to that, but boy is it good. It was really high quality. So
Alright.
I mean, it's something I'll probably get on PC as well, but
Yep.
I mean, I'm fine putting it in a top 10 when you really don't have a lot of like clear cut games. And I don't even think as a group we've played 10 games.
I don't
This is
think
true.
so.
No.
This is
No.
true.
Like, I think
So that's-
we've all
that's
played
why
like the same 5 or 6.
that's kind of why I want to put Pokemon Snap on the list because I just feel like, oh, that's Nintendo. It's Pokemon. They got like, am I
Yeah.
crazy? Is that I don't know.
No, that's fine. 3, 4, 5, 6.
I mean, you
7,
can leave it
8.
at the bottom. Like I
Yeah, so
didn't.
those two are like, yeah, that's it. That's 10, right?
Because again, I enjoyed my time with it. Like my wife really enjoyed it, but like when you finish it, it's just like, oh, okay, so we're
My
done.
wife. Sorry.
My wife.
I'm very, very topical, guys. I'm
All
on
right,
it.
so if we had to order a couple of these here, I think Dan, you're the only one who's played Pokemon Snap, and you're not
Yeah,
really.
that could stay at the
championing it.
bottom. That
So
could
that's
stay
probably
at the bottom.
WarioWare. Jeff, you played it, and Dan, you played it, right?
No, I didn't play it.
I played the
that's upset.
demo. Like it was
Oh, really?
WarioWare. Yeah.
Okay.
WarioWare. That can probably go right below. Yeah, like ninth spot, I would say.
Okay,
I didn't know there was
Unless-
a demo. I should try that.
I should try it too.
It's I don't know. I don't know if I love like you like choose like your cursor and like your character is your cursor. I don't know if I like that.
Yeah,
like,
so
whole-
each character has like a certain unique mechanic. Like they'll move differently or like do
so it
certain
kind of
things.
changes every mini game and that. like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
I
some
don't
of
know
them
if I
are
love
just some of them feel like throwaways. Like some of them are just kind of like oh, we have like so many characters. This one does this, I guess, and it's just kind of useless. Some of
Yeah.
them are definitely just better to use. So
I'm
but-
like shocked that somehow Pokemon Snap is worse than that. So, but
Well,
I
it's not
haven't
that-
played
it's
it,
not
so
that
like
it's
I
worse.
just take your word for it. You know?
Yeah,
It's
Dan,
not that-
it kind of comes down to you for these spots, WarioWare and Pokemon
Yeah, no,
Snap. Like,
you can leave it as is.
Alright, alright.
It's not a matter of like worse. It's just kind of like I mean, WarioWare is
It's a better time.
It's just more unique. So
Okay. Yeah, I'm here for that. Yeah.
I would put Eastward above Monster Hunter Stories 2. That's just because I like that style of game better. I like an action RPG better than I do a turn-based JRPG personally. That's just my personal preference.
I think it's nobody's really played Monster Hunter Stories, so I think anybody who's played Eastward, if they like it, it has to be.
Yeah, Jeff and I liked it a lot. I didn't play Cruise and Blast though. Who played it, and is it exactly what I expect?
I played it. I own it, and it's fun. It's a fun arcade racer. It's worth. I mean, I wouldn't put it top 5, but it should be at a 6 at least. So it can be under. It could be under Eastward if you guys love Eastward more. But other than that, I didn't care. I never tried Eastward, so I would rate Cruise and Blast ahead of it.
I'm moving it there for now, just because what you missed a little earlier was Jeff and I talking probably a little too much about how much we liked Eastward. Really cool game.
Okay.
But Kyle, tell me about No More Heroes 3. I know it's not a perfect game by any stretch. I know it's super quirky and wacky, but is that alone enough for it to? Does it belong in the top 5?
I think it's got some of the best like boss fights like in modern like gaming right now. Like it's the whole thing is like a boss rest mode almost. There's like some bad guys you fight obviously in between, like as you're kind of walking there. But like the big main events are these like gigantic, ridiculous boss fights, and all of them are super different. It's really cool, you know. It's just like it's a particular style and like it's a particular flavor, and this flavor is a hard one to swallow for a lot of people, I would say. In terms of its like storytelling and like jokes and stuff like that. So,
even the trailers, I was like,
dude,
what?
The trailers are so anime. Are the cutscenes like that, or was that just
the whole game is like it's an ode to anime. Like the main character is an otaku who like orders a lightsaber off of eBay, and he's like, I think I'm gonna become a hitman, and like he becomes the world's greatest hitman, and now he's fighting aliens. Like that's the whole story.
Sure.
He's a womanizer, so it's a lot of like old jokes that like woke people probably won't like, but it's a great game.
I was gonna say, Derek, you would love this.
Yeah, it's Derek's number 1, so we should probably put it up there.
Does it belong below Shin Megami Tensei and Monster Hunter Rise? Below those?
Shin Megami Tensei is my number 1 out of all of these.
Okay.
But I know I'm probably the only one who's played that too. So.
I have it. I've played it.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah, maybe we can.
But I like the Shin Megami games, but I'm not. I mean, you guys know, like, I like RPGs, but I'm not, unless it's an action RPG, I'm not going to stick with it. Yeah. So it's not going to be my number 1, but I would put it above No More Heroes and
Bravely Default.
I would put it right around Bravely Default.
Yeah, I maybe right above, like, because they're the same type of flavor of game. They're old school turn-based RPGs.
And I think it just comes down to like what you prefer, and I'm going to prefer Bravely over it. But Kyle's already said Shin Megami's his number 1. Bravely Default, I'll already say it, is not my number 1.
Okay.
I would say Shin Megami, like from what I had seen, because I haven't played it, is probably slightly higher quality than Bravely Default.
It's very high quality.
If you like Persona and you like the Shin Megami games, then you're absolutely going to like 5.
And it's definitely not like Persona at all. So everyone who is trying to play it and they're like, can't wait to play this new Persona game, like they don't play like that even kinda. So you're not dating anybody. There's no time for that.
Damn it.
Did Kyle, you and I played a little bit of Rise together. Anybody else play Monster Hunter Rise? I thought that was just
a demo.
I thought that they did an amazing job of bringing the Monster Hunter world experience down into a handheld, and I thought they really did a great job with it. It's got some limitations here and there, but nothing that took away from my experience. I thought it was a blast. I played.
The traversal is awesome in that game. Like
you ride a doggy, right?
You
got a dog.
Well, and there's like a whip, like right? Isn't there like
Rise is my number 1. That's my number 1.
Rise, I would happily put any weapon that 1, 2, 3 area. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, so it's safe to put Bravely Default down here at that 4 spot, right above No More Heroes 3.
Okay.
Then it's these 3.
Anybody else play Metroid Dread?
Yeah, I played it.
Yeah. I played Metroid Dread.
I finished it.
All right, that's good.
Oh, that's right. Dan did finish it because he bragged about it, like overcompensating a little bit.
Because I'm a pro gamer.
Yeah, Dan's the pro gamer of the group.
Hey, Derek.
Small penis.
Can you remind me that I finished Sekiro before you guys?
Yeah. I actually beat it before you. I just cheated. Like
Alpha male.
It did. It was
Alpha
around
male
the same
speed,
time.
bro.
It was around the same time. It was for
All right, so
Alpha male.
Dan, give me your pros and cons of Metroid Dread, and then I don't think you've played Monster Hunter Rise or Shin Megami, so I know it's hard to compare those, but
yeah,
just give me your
yeah.
pros and cons in general for you for Metroid Dread.
I mean, Metroid Dread, as far as just the series, like I think it's feels the best as far as the controls. It just feels really smooth. The movement is really good. The traversal. I do think some of the backtracking is a little more of a headache compared to the older Metroids, though, if I'm going to be honest. I don't mind the sort of Nemesis style robot. What were they called again?
The Emmys.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you,
yeah.
the Emmys. I didn't totally mind them. I thought it was just kind of something that they threw in to throw you off compared to some of the other enemies, just something kind of to change the pace a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But
They wanted you to feel weak for a little bit there.
yeah, but then you reap the reward. Once you defeat them, you actually gain like a pretty great reward from that. And then the bosses, dude, the boss fights are fantastic.
Very epic.
And actually being able to interact in like what sort of looks like a cutscene, but actually firing your blaster or actually charging it up fully and shooting at the boss was really cool.
Mhm.
Just looked really cool. I don't know. I mean, I think it is an excellent game, but I mean, if you guys wanted Rise to be above that, I would be perfectly fine with that. So I for sure think it's an excellent game, but I'm not like this needs to be number one. So
Why don't we do, and maybe Tim's gonna get to that, so sorry if I'm cutting
Sorry.
in line, but why don't we just do, like, to me these three objectively are pretty equal. Like, obviously they're different games, but they're pretty equal
Yeah.
as far as quality. Why wouldn't we just vote, like, you know how we do that scale of, like, I give Monster Hunter Rise a 3, I give Metroid Dread a 2, and Shin
Yep.
Megami a 1.
I think it'll come down to that. It sounds
Okay.
like because we've got like I would have Metroid Dread first.
That's why I
you would
said-
have Rise first. Kyle
Yep.
has Shin Megami first. So, Jeff, have you played Metroid Dread? I know you didn't play the other two extensively. You played the Rise demo. You didn't play Shin Megami, but you did play Metroid or no?
Yeah, I played Metroid
Okay.
for like an hour or two. It's not. I mean, I have no dog in this fight.
Okay.
Metroid's the best one out of all these, in my opinion. But my opinion matters very little.
Yeah, about time you recognize, bro.
God damn it! You
Wow.
know, you show
I
up
set
for the
myself
last
up for
like
that. I
30
really-
minutes
I
and just
keep that up myself.
Now-
dude shows up the last 30 minutes, hostility, just
Now, Derek, I think you're the only one who's played all three because I've played Dread and Rise. Are
I
truly
played all
pretty.
three.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kyle. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Kyle and Derek. So really, I want to hear from you two on not just how
So
you
the
would rank
two
them, but,
people
like,
that
give me-
actually matter on this podcast.
give me the
got
pros
it, got it.
Give me the pros and cons of
Thank you, Derek.
Metroid because I already heard you talk about Shin Megami and you loved it. We talked a little bit about Rise. We could talk more about it. But Metroid Dread, I know Kyle, you love the series. This one didn't click with you at first, at
It
least.
didn't click with me at first, and I started getting it, and then I just kind of moved on to other things afterwards. Like right as I was kind of getting it. I think it's super high quality, and if it ended up being number one, like I super wouldn't care at all, to be honest. But it's just not my number one. I think Rise would probably be a better like number one collectively. Like it sounds like a lot of us played it and a lot of us respect it. But Dread is also right there as well, especially with two people who have beaten it and really loved it. So
And that's even with Shin Megami being your personal one. You wouldn't push
I
it out.
mean, yeah, I can concede to that being third
Okay.
happily, just because I know the other two have been played and really enjoyed. Unless Derek, like you have something to say about Shin Megami. That's the only other person who played it, so
Yeah, and I only played a little bit, so third is completely fine.
yeah, I think I'm happy.
Well, then,
I'm
Derek,
totally fine with that.
what gave Rise the edge over Dread for you?
I'm gonna be honest. I think Dread should be 1, and then Rise 2, and then Shin Megami. The reason I say that is we've got two people that beat Dread and then loved it. I haven't beat any of these games because I wasn't committed to any of them. Now, why do I like Rise a lot? Because it's actually a really good game. I only played a couple hours, but it's really good. And then I pre-ordered it on PC because that's where I'm going to really play it.
Yeah.
It is limited on the Switch, but the Switch didn't... Like, I'm not picking the PC over the Switch because the Switch version is lesser. I'm picking the PC version over the Switch because I'm a PC master race. I still think they did like a really good job, and I think it's probably the best Monster Hunter across the board. Again, I only played the first couple hours, but that's the quality of how they did the gameplay, everything was stepped up, and they already did an amazing job with Monster Hunter Worlds.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting, and that's why I'm super excited for Rise on PC. But the reason I say Dread should be 1 is because I thought Dread was good. I played a couple hours of that too. And then I moved on because I knew it's just not my thing. It's not that the game was bad, and so therefore I quit because it's bad. I quit because I'm like, this isn't a game that when I walk away from it, that I go, I didn't beat it. Like, I have games now that I'm like, oh, I haven't beat it yet. I need to go back to it. Dread's not one of those. So
I gotcha.
for me, objectively, Dread should be 1, Rise should be 2, and then Shin Megami Tensei 5 at 3. I think those are a really, really good top 3.
No, I remember playing Monster Hunter Rise with Kyle, and I think we kept saying several times, like, how does this look so good and play so well?
It does.
It
It
was
looks
on the
good
Switch,
on the Switch.
Yeah,
it
it's
really
surprising.
does.
It's very they did some incredible stuff there. I think I got about 10, 12 hours total in that game. I really enjoyed it. You know,
I got
killed a
about
whole
the same
bunch.
amount. Yeah.
Killed a whole bunch of monsters. Loved my time with it. But I just felt like Metroid Dread was probably my favorite of the side-scrolling entries in that series, and that includes Super Metroid, which is one of my it's on my like all-time favorites list. I think Dread was better than that. I agree with Dan. Some of the backtracking got frustrating, but for some reason I was just so determined that when I got stuck, it didn't frustrate me like it maybe would have other times. So and you can get stuck in that game where you're like, I don't know where to go.
That's what I was
going
gonna say.
Yeah.
We got that little joke about smart games, and that Deathloop is just too smart for most gamers.
I mean, it's not a joke. It's true, obviously.
It is true, but
Oh my
God.
Metroid Dread is the same way. Like, when I was playing it, I was now granted I decided to buy the game because I got the new OLED Switch,
Yeah.
and I was at that time working in the office. I'm not now, and so I was like, I would literally have my phone up with the walkthrough there, and then I'd be playing as I'm watching this guy walk through, because I was like, I'm not gonna waste my damn time trying to figure out where this game wants me to go, because the game doesn't tell you
Yeah.
a lot, and then when it does
No, it
tell you
doesn't.
stuff, it's kind of like they
I mean,
want you
there's
to
hit-
read.
There's
want you to
hidden
rate.
walls.
They want you to
There's, like,
read.
yeah, there's like hidden walls and like the map, like there's something later on where you find that helps you find those hidden walls. And I remember finding one point where I was stuck. I had to find a video, and then when I got to that point in the video, I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like,
Yeah.
because it's not showing even with that thing that you find in the game
So,
to find a hidden wall.
I hit a couple of those moments too, and I got close to looking it up, and I'm so glad I didn't. In the same way that when you guys play a Souls game, which you like more than I do, I like some of them, and you finally beat that boss that seems impossible.
Yeah.
That rush of like, I figured it out. I get that. I know it sounds crazy, but I get that same rush of I
Yeah.
figured out what I was supposed to do next. I figured it out on my own. I didn't need help. I
That makes
found
sense.
it. So
Makes sense.
to me, it was a rush, and I enjoyed it. But I totally get how that's not a super plus for everyone. But it does sound like Metroid Dread has the #1 vote from Dan, Jeff, and even Derek.
I think it gets
Yeah.
bonus points also because your son beat it on hard mode.
Yeah, he did.
So that's pretty cool.
My son beat it on normal, which I found to be incredibly challenging. That final boss was really tough, dude.
Dude, that guy, yeah.
And I mean, I died a lot on that boss fight, figuring out
Yeah.
his patterns. And so, and he was, he had like I think I told you guys this, the tears in his eyes, his palms were sweating. He was mad. His face was red. And I could
Knees
just,
weak,
I was,
arms
and
are heavy.
I kept telling him, yeah, exactly. Thank you, Eminem.
Mom,
I kept-
My spaghetti's nervous.
I kept telling him, I was like, dude, it's really okay. Like, either I can help you or it's not a big deal if you don't finish it, or just, take a break. And he just kept going like, I can do it. And I was like, do you want me to help you? I can do it. Like, and I loved that because he did it. And the look on his face after he beat it, he was so excited. Not only did he do that, he went through the entire game on the next difficulty level and beat it again. And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, now you're just showing off. And I don't like this. I don't like
You're not allowed to play anymore.
Yeah. You're
when
10.
the student becomes the master.
You're 10. You're making me look bad over here. But anyway, it does sound like we've got 4 first place for Metroid Dread, and then Monster Hunter Rise, I think, comes in second. With
Yeah, I like the demo. It's
That's
just
fine.
I already recognize in the demo, like, I don't have time for this game. Like, I'm unwilling.
They're always a grind. If
Yeah.
like if you're gonna start a Monster Hunter game, it's an 80-hour game, and
Mhm.
you're gonna be killing the same monsters for 80
Yeah.
hours. But
although they've done better with the recent ones, don't you think?
I was
Like,
gonna
it's
say, but they
less-
add these quality of life things that just kind of make them funner to play, and
Yeah.
that's why I check out these games all the time.
they've been mixing it up a little more, and they even give you missions that are like you go out into that same area, and it just
Yeah.
helps you get familiar with it. It's like collect 5 of these mushrooms or whatever, and that's it. And then you
Or
finish.
just
that
go to
just
this
like-
specific spot on the map,
Mhm.
Like,
I
oh,
just
there's a
like
shrine
those
here.
games because I don't like playing with randoms in a lot of games, but there's certain games
Great
that
in this.
you can play with randoms and it's like you rarely are gonna have to deal with bullcrap. And this is one of them. Monster Hunter franchise is one of them, and then even Destiny. Like if you play like their strikes and stuff like that, you rarely get a headache from playing with people. It's just everybody knows what they're doing, and then the
Dude.
ones that don't know what they're doing, they're not gonna hold you back too much.
I'm telling you, like whenever I get into a Monster Hunter game, this is totally not racist, so don't take this out of
Oh no,
context.
it's the Asians.
Here we
They
go.
kill it.
Whenever you see a Japanese name, I'm like, we are totally killing this
Boom.
monster. It's gonna be the fastest it's ever happened.
Dude, I'm with Kyle on that. That happens so many times on Monster Hunter World. Every time I jump in online multiplayer and I'd see like Ching Chong Chang, I was like, dude, where?
God damn it.
We are going all the way to the
God
top.
damn it. God damn it.
We're gonna kill extra monsters along the way too. Like,
But do you know what? Like, that's never been not true though. It always works
It's
out.
always true.
No, I
Back in
have
the-
the scientific data to back
Yeah.
this up.
Back in the
It's
day,
never
when-
like you never get in there and you're like, dude, catch up, whatever you're ping or whatever your name,
Yeah.
like catch up over here. Like it never happens. It never
They're
happens.
always
remember-
smarter and better. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
they are.
Yeah.
I remember the stories of like Resident Evil, like some Asian kid like beating it with just the knife. I'm like, are you kidding me? How is that
Yep.
even possible? Like, I don't understand.
They're
Makes no
better.
sense.
They're
Yeah.
better than
All right, well,
us.
that's
I
our
don't
top 10 for
Hear that,
Nintendo.
Jeff?
Pretty
I
solid
hear
year.
nothing. You guys were all muted when you were talking.
know. Whatever.
Pretty solid year for Nintendo. Didn't have a Zelda or a Mario, but still had some pretty solid stuff. So number 10 was new Pokemon Snap. 9 was WarioWare. Monster Hunter Stories 2, Cruisin' Blast, Eastward at number 6. And then top 5 is No More Heroes at 5. No More Heroes 3. Bravely Default 2. Shin Megami Tensei 5 comes in at 3. Monster Hunter Rise at number 2. And Metroid Dread at number 1. I'm with you. The top 3 are all kind of interchangeable based on personal preference, for sure. But yeah, really solid year for Nintendo. I liked that year.
Yeah,
Now-
a great year. Yeah.
Derek, a couple of the we didn't debate these are just our personal preferences. Do you have any, just off the top of your head, like what were your favorite open worlds or exploring games that you played? Any kind of, so we listed things like, for example, Hitman 3. It's not open world, but the exploration in it was super fun. We listed Far Cry 6, Halo Infinite, Valheim, Deathloop, Forza Horizon 5. So do you have any off the top of your head? Don't have to rank them, but what were some of your favorite open worlds to explore this year?
Well, I mean, again, not open world, but like open areas. I would say Deathloop for sure. I mean, that was why I got super addicted and hooked on that game, as I just enjoyed going in there. Even if I was doing the same thing over and over, I would just go in there, do the same thing, and just loot and explore the world, trying to find secrets. Because that's kind of how you move forward in the story. Is nothing's just laid out and like here it is. Like they give you a direction, of course, but a lot of times you'll just unlock or unveil things organically if you just explore the world. So that one, Forza Horizon 5. I still think they do open worlds pretty amazing especially for a racer. I enjoy even though you can fast travel to things, I don't. I just drive. That's how much I love just exploring the world.
Yeah.
And even the little collectibles. I'm never a collectible guy. I don't care about collectibles in games.
Yep.
But in that game, I like to drive around and find the boards to smash.
Yeah.
Yep.
The other thing is I like the fact that it pops up and it'll say, Daniel, like for mine, it literally always updating me to let me know that Daniel Freitas was ahead of me by like 10 boards. I'm like, no, he's not. I'm gonna catch him.
Yeah.
But stuff like that. I'm trying to think of Far Cry 6. I didn't really get into as much as I thought I would. Can't really think of anything else. but
Ghost of Tsushima, did you try Iki Island?
I played like an hour. I played like an hour.
Now,
That's
a couple
another
of more linear games that still had some fun exploration elements. Would you guys consider Resident Evil Village or Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy to have fun exploring?
Resident
I
Evil
think they
was fun to explore. Yeah.
Yeah, Resident Evil had amazing level design.
I kind of forgot about that one, to be
Yeah,
honest.
same
Yeah.
here. Yeah, I kind of feel stupid.
Guardians, I mean, I know you can like find side paths. I'm in chapter 7. but there's not much to explore.
It's pretty linear.
Not
Yeah.
really, yeah.
But like,
Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart actually does have you revisit
Ratchet.
planets to
pub stuff.
to go collect things when you gain certain abilities or whatever.
I had
Okay.
Death's Door on my short list, but it got bumped off by these others because I got to be honest, as much as I love that game, backtracking does become a chore, especially if you decide you want to 100% that game, which of course a lot of people don't need to. You don't, that's fine, but I really wanted to, and you'd backtrack a ton in that game, and that's not necessarily the best, but I do think their level design was really good, really creative. Returnal had some fun stuff, but you also have to take into account the random nature of how things
Yeah.
are laid out.
Yeah.
But and we'll talk more about those games with other categories coming up. But that does it for part one. Before we close out, there weren't really a whole lot of headlines to cover, so nothing really there that I took note of. I kept an eye on. I didn't see a whole lot. Thankfully, it's been kind of quiet. No new accusations or lawsuits that I've seen come up. That's nice.
It's coming.
It's the holidays. No one's in the
But,
office. So
Real quick, anything specific that you're playing you want to call out? The one that I'm playing is Tales of Iron. I think that's really fun. That game's a lot of. That's been my kind of Christmas week game, along with a few other things. Anything you guys are playing you want to highlight before we close out?
For me, I mean, I'm not on the show that much, so I actually probably have like 30 games. But I'll just talk about. Right now, I'm playing Guardians of the Galaxy. That's my main one that I'm trying to focus on.
Awesome.
So I'm on chapter 7. I'll be honest, like I liked it from the get-go, but I didn't like get hooked. I thought the gameplay was solid. I thought it looked good. I thought it was funny. But as I've played more and more, I'm actually becoming like I think more hooked even to the gameplay. I think that the gameplay is a little bit deeper than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
Not like deep, like oh, it's super smart, but it's like
Your team has more unlockable stuff.
yeah,
that throws
there's a
stuff
lot. There's a lot going on, and as you
Yep.
keep unlocking even like new things to do with your gun, just to traverse the world. Like I think I just unlocked I had ice, and now I just unlocked the ability for electricity, I believe,
Yep.
and so it
I
adds
love that
to
stuff.
yeah, so it adds as you go through the world. So, but the big thing is the banter. Like frickin' Drex taking everything literal is hilarious. Like nobody can say anything without him like questioning it or saying that makes no sense. And it's just I don't know. I love that stupid stuff. Like I'm always into like characters who like my favorite character in the Suicide Squad is the shark because he just says one word. And it's the same thing with like I am Groot, and then you got the little raccoon just explaining to you what Groot's saying, even though he's literally
And
saying the same
sometimes
thing.
lying to you about what he's saying.
Yeah.
too.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Like
Of course.
Batista is a good Drax, but the Drax in this game is like excellent, right?
yeah,
he's
he's
good.
so, he's
It's like
so
really good.
entertaining.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Absolutely.
So Guardians of the Galaxy for sure is one that I'm absolutely loving. And
By the
then,
way, one of the best scenes in Guardians, a lot of people miss. It's in the bar when you first go to Nowhere, and it's a guy.
missed that one, yeah.
It's the No Lips guy, and he
Oh,
used
yeah,
to
yeah,
be in
yeah,
a band, used to be in a band together, and that whole scene is so funny. I love
Yeah, I
that scene.
missed that, yeah.
God,
Yeah.
that scene, it goes on a while, and
It goes on
sure
way
does.
too
stuff they
long,
make
and
you
it's
pick is so dumb. I love it.
and his name isn't his name like
Lipless or something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's like no lips. Yeah, the dude, he's a creepy looking mother effer for sure.
But it's totally optional. It's very funny. They put a lot of love into that Guardians game, so I'm glad you're enjoying it.
yeah, I guess I'm just shocked by how good it is. Like I know the reviews were good. It's not like that, and I was hyped for the game, but like before launch, but I'm just surprised how good it is.
It's a
We all
pleasant
felt
surprise.
the same way when
Yeah.
we beat it. We were like, what is going on in the
Yeah.
world? Like, how are we in a mirror dimension? What is happening? How
Yeah.
did this end up so good?
Yeah.
It's really
very
good.
cool.
And then a shout out to the Dishonored games. Like I became obsessed with Deathloop, and I put a ton of hours in Deathloop when you really didn't have to. Like I could have beat it a long time ago, but I just kept playing. And then even after I beat it, I kept playing. Like I have a PC playthrough that I'm like a third through. But
Nice.
but Dishonored and Dishonored 2, I've already beat those games, and Death of the Outsider as well. I've already beat all of those games, and when I played them, I enjoyed them. But there was times where I was just like, I'll be honest, I know we make a joke about it, but it was like these games are too smart for me. They frustrate me. They're annoying. But now that I'm kind of getting there the understanding of how Arcane makes their games, I absolutely love how smart they are, but I also just love how fun they are. I love how open and free, and they want you to explore different ways. I love that. I love the freedom. So shout out to Arcane, because they're one of my favorite studios right now.
Yeah, man, it's good
Dishonored's
stuff.
cool.
Well deserved.
I still need to beat the first Dishonored and Dishonored 2, but I played like quite a bit into Dishonored, the first one, and I was like,
Good stories
"What is wrong
too.
with me? I need to play this game."
Well, that
like
was what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. The only thing I think Arcane needs to do a little bit better with, I think they got the characters down, like in their games. I think all the characters, Deathloop definitely. Deathloop has great banter, great characters. The biggest problem with the Arcane games to me is not story. Their plots are good. It's how they finish off, how they tell them, and how they finish them off.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know how many people beat Deathloop, but Deathloop has a very intriguing plot, and there's a lot to it, and there's a lot of information that you unlock and discover. But by the time you get to the end, you're like, okay, well, that was predictable, like the twist, which wasn't really a twist, and then the end was just like, okay, it just ended. You're like, really? Like, I played this whole game and that's it?
Well, there's three choices, but it's not like it's anything shocking, right? Like,
No, I did my ending and then I watched the other two, so I knew everything, and I still was just like,
oh, okay.
it just ended.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I think
ending
if
was
they
a little
can-
Interesting.
disappointing.
And that was true of both Dishonored games too, as good as they were. And I thought the narratives were good. You're right; the endings did feel a little anticlimactic in both, even though they were still solid. But I'm with you. Anything else you guys are
Could
playing?
I'm just going to give a shout out to two things that just dropped. I'm halfway through the new season of Cobra Kai. It's still enjoyable as hell and has no right to be as good as it is.
Yeah,
So
so
good
fun.
to hear, actually.
It's
so fun.
it's so corny, but aware of it, and
It is.
as ever. It's so fun. And then the Harry Potter anniversary special, for anybody that's into that, I thought it was really well done. The Friends one was in front of a crowd because it's a TV show in front of a crowd, so
Sure.
they replicated that. Whereas Harry Potter, they went back to like the sets and
Nice.
had conversations, and it was they got very emotional and stuff, especially because like many of the cast has died now. Alan Rickman,
Oh,
Helen
yeah, that's true.
Corey or whatever her name is, she played Draco's mom.
Yep.
The original Dumbledore, like all these people died.
Yeah.
The best
And,
Dumbledore. Oh,
Yeah, the one who was actually
Super
like a
Santa
chill Dumbledore. Yeah, like
Super Santa Dumbledore.
exactly. The new one's so aggressive.
Russell
but
Crowe's
it's
adopted
really
dad
good.
in
Just wanted to give those
Gladiator. I
shout-outs.
mean, he's amazing.
Do what?
He was Russell Crowe's adopted dad, kind of in Gladiator. Remember?
Was he?
Was
He
he?
said, "You're the son that I should have had." Remember when he said that to him?
That's the same actor?
That's Caesar. Yeah.
That's
Oh,
Richard
wow.
Harris. Richard Harris
Oh.
plays him and
Wow.
Dumbledore.
Such a
Anyways.
chill guy.
Yeah,
Just an old guy.
dude, he's great. He's got that whisper voice. He's so good.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And then the new guy they cast, like I remember in the fourth movie when Harry Potter was announced as being a
he
competitor
was so
in that
aggressive.
wizard tournament, he's like, "Did you put your name in that? Put your name." He was so mad. And when you read the books, it's nothing like that. He's just like,
Did you put your name in the
this?" And he's like,
book?
"No," and he's like, "Okay."
It was a shock because
movie,
out of
he's
the
like-
other ones,
Yeah.
he talks so
Yeah.
purposefully and slowly. He's like, "To
Yeah.
those who ask for it," like it's just very
was really
slow and
Really intense about that
raspy.
goblet. Yeah, he's really
Really
intense about the
good.
goblet.
anyway,
Yeah,
whatever.
Very
I did finish Hawkeye, by the way, and it's
Yeah,
a lot of
me too.
fun. It
Yeah.
is the fun that I wish Cap and Winter Soldier had been. Listen, Cap and Winter Soldier, I told you guys this in our chat too. Cap and Winter Soldier had some amazing set pieces, and the story actually had some interesting moments. And I didn't hate the characters. I just there was a lot of pacing issues in that show, and I felt like Hawkeye just clipped along at the right beat, and it had some cool character reveals. The last couple episodes were just like, oh, they tied in that, and that was cool, and I liked it.
Yeah.
It wasn't perfect, but I liked it a lot.
There's a character involved in the last like 2 episodes who brings so much of the humor, like
Yeah.
funniest moments to me, and
Which I haven't seen the
oh,
movie
this
yet.
person's gonna be such a big heavy hitter in the MCU.
Oh, seeing the movie that character's tied to is actually kind of important. I discovered. I'm glad I watched
Right.
it before watching this.
Yes.
I'm gonna watch it probably tonight actually because I did enjoy
Not bad.
the portrayal of that character for sure.
Yeah, there's more of
So-
that in Black Widow for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Enchanting Tatum.
Whoa!
Whoa, and Channing Tatum.
Can I just throw out there though? I don't know if it's always just to kind of humanize and be like, oh, like the every person's part of the story. It's like, I don't know. I kind of sometimes don't really care about just like the normal people interacting with the heroes. Like I kind of just want to watch the hero stuff. Like
You have
mean
to
like
have
the
that
LARPers?
For whatever reason, I don't know.
The
I like that better.
I just don't
than-
really care. I
The
don't.
Netflix always had to have like there's either a cop or the NSA or someone like that's on their tail, and that
Nurse,
character always
yeah.
sucked every time. Like,
I just
I didn't
yeah,
care
I just,
about like the cop who was trying to bring down the vigilante
you
ever.
literally
Like,
you literally have this mafia, even though they're like a corny mafia, like just showing up with bats and guns, and you got these larpers that are like they're just able to be like hold their own. Like okay, sure, that's fine.
There was a very cheesy tongue in cheek stuff there that
Sure.
again it was definitely not a perfect show, but it was a lot more. I just had fun. Like when it was over, I was like,
That's just a
fun.
minor critique. I wasn't offended by it. It's just
Kate Bishop's awesome. I think she's gonna
Yes.
be totally great as whatever they use her for. So
she's really good at looking emotional about something.
Yeah. Very good.
She's always been like that.
She's
By the way,
she has a good emotional face.
By the way, at the very end, I was like, cool. Let's see what the final scene is, and it says like, here's the final scene, like Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays,
dude,
Marvel, and the entire final scene. I was kind of waiting for something, and it didn't. Like I watched the whole thing, and I was like,
it made us watch this whole awful song.
Yep.
For 3.5 minutes, and I was just like, oh, it's gonna pan out to the crowd, and we're gonna see
somebody.
somebody.
There were so many memes on like TikTok of that, of like, and then it pans to the crowd, and it's like Bruce Banner going, "Oh, that's not how that happened," and he rages or something like.
Yeah.
I hated that so much. I hated
it so much, and like every time like they would start a new verse of that song,
every time they hit that big note,
I'm like, I can't. Is this still going?
And look, I apologize for a lot of musicals, and that really tried me. That was
Yeah, when they hit that big, I could do this all day. No, I muted it. I was like, mute until
I can do this all day.
I hate musicals so much.
Bad.
I hate them.
So bad.
Anyway,
it makes you appreciate the good one.
All
right. Are there
one last shout out, and then I know you guys probably been on for a while. Just mainly because it's a surprise. True Colors, like not real far into it, probably an hour in or whatever. I just got past I'm not spoiling because if you haven't played it, you're not gonna know what I'm talking about. I just got past the part where like Mac enters the scene and stuff happens, and I'm like, whoa, okay, that really happened. But it's very intriguing so far. I can't say enough how shocked I am. Like, compared to other games, no, it's not the most beautiful game, mainly because it's not animated real well. But for this style of game, it's really, really pretty. And I'm playing on Xbox Series X. I'm not playing on, PC Master Race, but it looks really, really good. It's real
crisp, vistas, right?
Yeah, and I really feel like I'm in Colorado or wherever they're at.
I think this might have been the first time they did mocap, so it kind of shows.
Yeah, I feel like the characters move and talk better, everything like that. There is still like when they pan out and you see like the movements of things, it's it's very Life is Strange or The Walking Dead.
Yes.
But still overall, I was shocked more about the fact that I'm not tearing this game apart.
I thought you would be.
Yeah, same.
Well,
dude, you'll like it. You liked the first one. This is a return to form for the first one. You'll like it.
Yeah, so far I do like it. So I'm shocked by that. And then one last shout out is just the Halo franchise. I beat Halo Reach again. It was just my second time beating it. And I'm just, I can't say enough how good these stories are. I feel like I never knew. I still see people all the time, not just in this chat. So it's not a passive aggressive, or not chat, but like whatever we are, podcast. It's not like a passive aggressive, like, oh, you guys don't pay attention to the story because you're stupid. I see it all the time. Like, oh, I don't like Halo games. I don't care about the story, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that was me. Like, I always liked Halo games, but I always played them co-op. Now that I'm running through all of them by myself and I'm older, more mature, and I'm paying attention to things.
More mature, though? I mean...
Well... Continue. Go ahead.
That was a
No,
good
but they're
setup,
really
though.
good. The stories, and they're very
They're
present.
really good,
Yeah,
and they're really
it's not.
deep.
It's just
like,
usually when you're playing co-op, you're like screaming at your
Yeah.
friend, like, "I can't believe you stole the warthog!"
Wait, so
you know, like.
So you're replaying all of them too, or which one are you?
Yeah,
oh, you
I-
just finished Reach, right? I think.
Yeah, Reach is the
I
first
played
one
through
canonically, I guess.
2, 3,
Oh, okay.
ODST, Reach. I'm halfway through 4, which this would be my third time playing through 4. I'm
Okay.
gonna go back and play the original, and then I'm gonna play 5 again for the third time. But the point is, the reason I actually know I'm gonna play through them is as soon as I start them, I don't want to start playing. Whereas other games, I'll play them and I'll be like, "This is good," and I'm playing for like 30 minutes. I'm like, "This is a good game," and then I turn it off.
Yeah.
This I'm
Yeah.
not turning off. I just keep playing all the Halo games, and I'm
Yeah.
really into the lore and the characters and stuff like that. I'm not saying it's exactly on par with Mass Effect, but if
Yeah.
you really invest in it, you'll realize they kind of take from each other. Like they're very
Space operas,
Yeah,
yeah, they're
like there's a
both
lot of
space
stuff with the
operas,
Forerunners and the Endless
Yeah.
and stuff like that. That's very
Yeah,
reminiscent of Reapers
like-
and
Yep.
yeah,
like
the
that stuff.
Prometheans.
Weber. Yeah, exactly.
That
Prometheans.
stuff in the beginning of Halo 2, because I'm in like towards the beginning of Halo 2, and by the way, I'm assuming they redid the cutscenes, right? Because it looks like
2.
I-
Oh
yeah.
yeah, that was like the
like
big
fairly modern
release.
cuts. Yeah, fairly modern cutscenes.
Well, When
there's like that
Master
trial
Chief's
thing going on.
Collection came out, the big release was the 10-year anniversary of 2. So they
Okay.
redid 2.
Okay, gotcha.
All the cutscenes are professionally
Yeah.
done by, I forgot the group, but it's like some professional group that does it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that trial going on with the what is it? Is it the
Arbiter.
Reapers? Arbiters? Yeah. Like that whole thing was
Reapers.
actually really cool. Yeah, I'm trying to still get the hang of all the terminology.
Reapers.
The Reapers.
No, but
Yep.
it's really good. And again, a lot of people crap on Microsoft. They don't have this, they don't have that. PlayStation doesn't have this. They don't have this. And I don't
They
think
tried and they failed.
Yes, and what they did was actually, we're not going to get into it, but this franchise they built to kill Halo was a good franchise.
Killzone and Resistance are both fantastic.
Yeah,
I
franchises.
absolutely love both of those franchises.
Yeah, they're maybe
But I
not Halo
still-
level, but they're
I would
not
say
like.
Halo is
yeah.
superior, and I
It
think
is,
that's
but-
what Microsoft
Yeah.
has. It's better than people realize until they
Yeah.
really give it a shot.
Well, and there's like a confidence in it that Microsoft has that Sony doesn't have in either of those other two franchises.
Well, I mean, they
that's
left,
why we don't have sequels
Yeah.
anymore to
They
either.
need to have it with Resistance. Killzone, I can kind of understand. Resistance needs to come back.
I mean,
Resistance
they
is
should
a really
bring
cool
back both.
idea. Yeah.
They
I would
should
love
bring
it if
back
they
both. Yeah,
I
they should
want
bring back
both back, but I'm saying if they're only going to give me one, give me Resistance.
Yeah, I would love it if they even just started things off with here's a Resistance remastered trilogy. Or
Yeah.
Oh,
whatever.
I would love that. Yeah,
they left-
trilogize both of them. Yeah.
They left it as a cliffhanger, I think, right? With
I never
because-
played. I never played
Yeah.
2 or 3. I played most of 1. I think I can't
I
remember.
played
Two's the big
all of
one.
them.
Yeah, I like two a lot.
Killzone. The reason I'm not high on Killzone is because is it Killzone Shadowkeep?
Shadowfall.
That game
Shadowfall.
sucks.
That game sucked.
That was a
Pretty.
launch game.
Yeah.
That was a PS4
For
launch
PS3,
game.
but Killzone 2 was out of this world, and
I think
Killzone
it was
3 is
4.
really good
It was
too.
4.
Two
It
and
was
3.
PS4. It was
Yeah,
a
two-
launch PS4 game.
It was, yeah. Killzone 2 and 3 were amazing though. I thought those
Yes.
games were
I
awesome.
love
The
2,
story's really
yeah.
good.
The
you
first
know.
one was okay. It was
First
good.
one's just okay. Yeah.
But
I like
2
3.
and 3 were really good.
Yeah. I like
Shadowfall was trash for me, and then
Shadowfall's a little trash.
and then I liked all 3 of the Resistance.
Yeah, they
the
could just-
Resistance
they should
games
just-
just kept getting better.
Let's just make a game. Just call it Killzone. Call it a reboot or
Boom.
whatever,
Yeah.
and just Killzone.
Killzone
here.
I'd
Ragnarok.
happily play all 3 of those games.
Yeah, Killzone Ragnarok.
Sure.
Yeah,
That
Killzone-
sounds
sure,
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that does it for us for this week. Next week, we got a few more categories we'll dive into. Thank you guys for talking about best indies, best open worlds, best Nintendo.
Hold
Yeah,
on, real
Derek,
quick.
you-
Derek, what is actually the best indie of 2021?
Give me some of yours. I have one in my head, but in case I'm forgetting any, what did you guys come up with real
All right.
quick?
So our top 10 for indies were Valheim, It Takes Two, Kena, Bridge of Spirits, Death's Door, 12 Minutes, Artful Escape, Solar Ash, Eastward, The Ascent, and Cyber Shadow.
Okay, so the only ones I give a crap about are Death's Door and Kenya.
Kena was really good.
Yeah.
And like in the spirit of indie was really an indie. So there you go. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for taking time. Happy New Year. And we'll talk to you next week. We'll argue together next week. We'll see you.
Hey man, Jeff's an idiot.